Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast, a podcast that is suffering tremendously from the Wrestlemania hangover because there ain't too much to talk about around these times of the year. Sancho, how you feeling right now, man, as a wrestling fan and physically because you were ill last week?
I'm feeling great. I had a stomach flu, so it wasn't really what I ate. It wasn't the late night ice cream snacks that caused it. My son, who's 3 years old, had the stomach flu, but I am good, man. And as a wrestling fan, I think it's the same thing. You know, we're doing good. You know, we're on a course
Sancho,
that is heading somewhere. We're chill. You know.
Since there isn't a heck of a whole lot of wrestling to talk about, I asked ChatGPT, give me 5 funny would you rather scenarios to share with my podcast buddy Sancho. I haven't read them. So this is pure AI slop. AI humor. That's what Wrestling is Cool has now degraded itself into, relying on artificial intelligence.
What are we, Fortnite? Are we going to have an AI Darth Vader now to play games with, to duo up with?
Sancho, would you rather have to fight a goose every time you check your email, or get a full musical flash mob performance every time you enter a public restroom?
Public restroom?
A public restroom.
I would do the public restroom. I ain't finding no goose.
I feel like a goose would be far more of a difficult fight, especially you and I, how often we probably I check my email like a lot in terms of the job that I have. And there's probably a ton of people here that live in work in the corporate world, right? Constantly having to check their emails. Imagine, bro, every single time, just wait, no, that's a chicken. But
what kind of Jesus, Santi? Are you okay? Do you go outside? Do you touch grass?
Not
you know
enough.
What? I think of this email goose as Brock Lesnar, you know? Goose Lesnar.
Oh, you think that we're getting like the apex predator of the goose species every single time you check your email?
Absolutely. Dude, you got to think about it. There is a Brock Lesnar apex predator for each species. There has to be,
has to be, right?
There has to be the alpha version, the most optimal DNA quality animal, or that whatever that is out there. There has a praying mantis that is the Brock Lesnar of the praying mantis.
Well, we see it in animals with pack mentalities, right? Like the wolf, right? There's always like the alpha wolf. There's always the head of the pride lion. Yeah. There's always me as the co-host of Wrestling is Cool podcast. I would be the apex Brock Lesnar, but maybe I don't want to be the Brock Lesnar.
No, I don't think you would do. Wait, you heard it here, folks. Santi wants to be Brock Lesnar.
All right, Sancho. Would you rather be able to only communicate by quoting Vin Diesel movies, or have a voice that sounds exactly like a fart, but only when you're being serious? So when imagine proposing, you know, and it's just the fart that comes out your mouth, brother.
Oh, gross!
Having to discipline your little ones.
I'd rather live life a quarter mile at a time because it's all about family.
The thing is, I feel like you could get away with quoting Vin Diesel movies and having a somewhat normal conversation, even if people think that you're that guy's a little off.
Did it bother you that John Cena ended up being Dom Toretto's brother?
Dude, Fast and Furious movies have just evolved into just conveniences. Oh, this guy that cares so much about family, now we only find out there's a literal family member that we haven't heard about. How has this guy cared so much about family but not talked about his brother, his literal family? Did you see how they introduced Jason Momoa into the Fast and Furious universe?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so do you remember in Fast 5, I think it's Fast 5, when they like yank the safe and they start like, the safe goes through like a bunch of walls and then they start driving through the city with the big ass safe in the back?
Yeah.
Okay, so that just happens in the movie. In like the new Fast and Furious, it goes back to that moment. The safe is ripping through the walls, and then all of a sudden the camera shifts, and right beside one of those walls was Jason Momoa the whole time. He's just been following the Vin Diesel crew since as early as Fast 5. Fast and Furious, man, has devolved into into garbage. Garbage. I used to love that franchise.
I see what you're saying. It's the old Karrion Kross. Just put him in the background in every places, and eventually we're gonna tether into it. We're gonna tap into that Karrion Kross loophole. I see it.
Yeah, I'll do one more here. We won't do all of them. Would you rather? Oh man, ChatGPT, you're so funny. Have to wear a full mascot costume 24/7. Yes, even at weddings and funerals. That's what it says. Or be followed everywhere by a hype man that announces everything that you're about to do. So like you have your own personal Mark Nash out there, your own personal Lillian Garcia.
God.
Your own personal ring announcer, Ricardo Rodriguez out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sancho, I'd rather be a mascot 24/7.
24. I don't know, man. I kind of like the idea of having a hype man or hype woman.
But Santi, for everything you do.
Okay, but
everything you.
But you can't live a normal life in a mascot costume.
You can't live a normal life. Everyone hyping up everything you do.
More normal. I think you can live more normal. I think you could get into maybe you could have a more normal life if you find the furry circles of the world as a mascot. I feel like there you could. Okay, yeah. How's it going? I'm a stuffed lion. How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, I'm walking here, stuffed lion here.
You're so dumb. Like, why would you be a lion? Is that what you mean?
What do you mean? It's a mascot. That's a pretty normal mascot.
I would be a raccoon. A raccoon seems cool. You got the tail.
A thievius raccoonus.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, that's the state of the podcast right now.
Dude, people get so triggered when we don't open up with wrestling. It's amazing. It's shocking how we put over the immortal Snail Hogan. Now for the rest of your life, you have this great gift called the immortal Snail Hogan, and now you have Goose Lesnar. Like we're giving you. When it comes, we have so many things for you. We provide so many for free.
For free,
so many free rares.
Goose Lesnar.
Goose Lesnar, dude.
Does Goose Lesnar have a Paul Heyman?
He has a tattoo right on the breast right here.
I bet Goose Lesnar's Paul Heyman would be like a penguin, right? A penguin. It had to be a penguin going around with Goose Lesnar. The rating.
I would love for everybody to get turned into animals for like an episode. Vince would have like a fever dream episode every now and then, right? Why not?
Yeah. Well, what would I turn into? What would you turn into? What do you think? What's my spirit animal? You're a meerkat.
Okay, I'm the meerkat. You're a chupacabra then.
That's not an animal. That's it is. Isn't a chupacabra like a fictional being?
I'm sorry, a capybara. That's you.
A capybara. No, I know what those are. Those are adorable.
Come on.
I like capybaras.
Look at you. You're a big, huge rodent.
I'm a huge rodent. Thank you. That's
adorable. He's adorable. Has a big nose, has a little ears.
A capybara.
I'm trying to put you over. I don't want to put you as a bear. You want to be a bear?
No, that's too generic. That's too simple. I could be the gorilla and then turn on the gorilla in the 1 versus 100. Go full Big Show. I'll turn heel on my brother, the gorilla.
You would hit the one gorilla with a chair in the back in the back, good old Seth Rollins style.
Plan G, plan gorilla.
There's always a plan G. Dude, that would be our front line. That should have been our front line. No one talks about Triple H with a sledgehammer. I find it weird that this whole gorilla versus man's conversation is like, why do we eliminate weapons? It's clear as day that we would approach the situation.
Well, that's how we've survived as a species, right? That we were able to
beat out so many.
We were able to use our deductive reasoning and our problem solving skills to come up with tools to put us in an advantageous position for whatever it might be. And to limit us away from tools is to limit us away from humanity, if you ask me.
Oh, wow. I have a question for you, though. If you're in a zombie apocalypse, would you use a steel chair for a weapon? I would, because that seems cool. That seems
I don't know,
rad.
man. I feel like you need something a little bit more blunt than a steel chair.
A steel chair, brother?
No, a steel chair has too much surface space. That prevents it from being as blunt as like something like a 9-iron.
Like a stinger bat.
Yeah. You need compressed bluntness.
It's okay. So what's the best WWE weapon? I mean, I think Triple H's sledgehammer is a little too heavy. You can't be too nimble with a sledgehammer.
You can't be. Ooh.
Maybe Mick Foley's barbed wire bat.
It might have to
Cactus
be.
Jack
Oh,
bat?
that has a name. Barbie, right? Barbie.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It might have to be Barbie.
Or what if Adam Copeland's stupid big metal toothbrush he walked around with went into John Moxley's back?
Oh man, good times. Good times. All right, well, folks, welcome to the Wrestling is Cool podcast.
The start of the podcast begins now.
Yeah, coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. You could be getting this podcast 3 days earlier than everywhere else on the planet over on patreon.com/SantiZap. Not only do you get the podcast earlier than the rest of the world, but you also get exclusive series that are only available on Patreon, like the Raw reviews, the Smackdown reviews, the 5 weekly match watch-alongs, the currently ongoing Royal Rumble series, the completed Undertaker anthology that we completed, and now the currently ongoing John Cena's every single world championship victory and loss. The Patreons have convinced me to include the losses and to rank them separately as well. So now it'll be a total of 33 episodes, all 17 wins, all 16 losses, unless between now and then he loses the title. Then we'll do 17 and 17. Should be interesting. But go check it out.
Wrestling buddies back there? Those are new, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yeah. They're called Big Shots, I believe. The company said it's so funny, man. They're like, we want to send you a little care package with our Big Shots. They're these like wrestling. I'll show them to you. So like,
Penta one? That's sick. Right? You hit the best one, dude. Get Jay out of there.
So I got this Dominic Mysterio one and this dope Penta one.
Dude,
but they're like, hey,
dude.
we want to send you a little care package with a couple of them, and we're like, all right, sure. I think they sent me their entire catalog, dude. I have like 30 of them. These aren't even all of them that are back there. I have way too many of these things.
Oh, send me some, dude.
Here, let me show you a different one. Carry.
Okay. Dude, those are kind of cool. Those remind me of in the 90s, early 90s, they had a thing they're called Wrestling Buddies. They're exactly the same kind, the same shape. And I had a Macho Man one, and Macho Man I would do all the wrestling moves with. And then I had Macho Man and Warrior. I didn't have Hogan. I had definitely.
So there's a Warrior one.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
cool.
Gonna be Bloodline rule.
Vamos.
and then I got turned into a doll.
Hey, why don't you put him with his son, dude? Put him with my son.
I don't think these are on camera either. All right,
so we got sick, dude.
A Taker. Yeah. I'm telling you, they sent the whole catalog. The box was huge.
Oh, Bret Hart. Yeah, those are cool, dude. Did you think you were getting like
Sancho? What are you going to talk about?
That's an inaccurate doll. Doesn't have the belt anymore. Does he have his neck tattoo in that one?
What's that? Does he have a neck tattoo? Let me check.
Yeah. Does he have it? That's important.
First of all, he does have the belt. Oh, wait. You're right. That would make it inaccurate.
Yeah, and it's inaccurate.
He does have the neck tattoo.
Look, let's just start here.
Not sponsored, but they just got quite an ad spot.
It's kind of cool. I kind of dig it. We're not gonna give him the address, so you figure that out.
Right.
I do miss Cody Rhodes, man. You know, we took Cody for granted. We took the fighting undisputed champion for granted. I still would say it is not Cody's fault. It's the WWE's fault. I don't know if they had a plan beyond for Cody. And I think there's a lot of these instances where you see that they didn't have plans for beyond the pivot, right? They made the pivot. We forced their hand to do we want Cody. They were like, all right, he'll finish the story in 40. Where does he go after? Don't know. No clue. Will he go up with The Rock? Don't know.
Maybe. We'll make you think he will.
Maybe not. And it's interesting now that he's like he's been gone since Mania without any kind of explanation. And now I think it's interesting that what the WWE seems to do is they kind of bench a player, and I'm using the word loosely here. They bench a wrestler so another wrestler could rise in the ranks, and that's clearly Jey Uso rising with the absence of Cody Rhodes.
Well,
I know they're on different brands, but still, it's like
Well, it forces a power vacuum to be left empty at the top of the card, right? When a Cody Rhodes is gone, when a Roman Reigns isn't there, it allows room for WWE to experiment, to give the ball to somebody else and see if they can fully run with it. Obviously, on Monday Night Raw, we're seeing the attempt with Jey Uso. On Friday Night SmackDown, I think that we're seeing it maybe with like a Jacob Fatu, right? Because that's one of the things that we kind of called here on the podcast, like with the hiatus of Cody Rhodes, that U.S. title picture would be what molds the main event of Friday Night SmackDown, because Cena is a part-time champion. Randy Orton is then tethered to a part-time champion. And obviously Randy Orton right now is still the biggest star, but being in feuds that he can't really sink his teeth into fully every single week, it gives an opportunity for like a Jacob Fatu to grab the ball and run with it, and he's quickly becoming an incredibly popular character. And let's not forget about the ladies, right? Like Rhea Ripley, biggest pop maybe of the entire week, every single week, out of anybody on the roster right now. It's insane, the pops that Rhea Ripley is getting. But yeah, this is an opportunity that gets opened up to the roster. Like who's gonna grab that spot, right? Who is going to suck in the extra eyeballs that are there for the taking, the extra merch sales that are there for the taking, while somebody like Cody Rhodes is on the bench. But I miss Cody Rhodes. I'm not the biggest Cody Rhodes fan, but I always loved having the champion there every single week. That I've always been very transparent about. I love that the champion was there every single week, and now he's not. And now you're seeing what happens to a brand when the champion isn't there every single week. It's like people forgot about the kind of damage that does to a show. They forgot what happened when Brock Lesnar was there like 6 days out of the year during the Universal title reign. They forgot about what happens to the quality of the show when Roman Reigns isn't there during his 3-year reign. We're seeing it here less egregiously because, to be fair, Cena's showing up a decent amount. It's not as if he's not there. He's not there like for months at a time. He's there every couple of weeks, sometimes on quick bursts as well. But there is something about having your champion there every single week that makes the product just organically better.
I feel like the 3 hours too doesn't help.
Yeah.
A 3-hour SmackDown without your undisputed champion and without that title picture moving forward is really rough sauce. I mean, it's I do enjoy SmackDown, but there are times where I'm like, ooh, that 3 hours is looming. That 3 hours is a tough pill to swallow compared to where I feel like Monday Night Raw is at a really solid 2 hours and a half.
Agreed.
No matter if there is anything big or not happening, I feel like every bit of is important because of that time limit. But yeah, I like that idea. And even on SmackDown with Tiffany Stratton finally hitting her stride on the main roster as a champion, killer, amazing match against Nia Jax. I was definitely surprised that they were able to pull that together. And I was shocked that even though it was a feud that was been, around a little bit around the park multiple times, but I was like, man, I didn't know about Nia and Tiffany. And then you were like, they need to pay that off. I mean, Nia Jax feels like she wasn't beaten as a champion. And so they needed to pay off to give Tiffany that true mantle of being the women's champion. And dog, that moment where she got hit with that, I guess so it's an avalanche annihilator.
It was like a basement drop kick. I thought you were talking about when Nia got busted open, but let's call it let's call it an avalanche annihilator, because right. I called it the Queen of the Ring spot.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Not great.
That basement drop kick and like the instant blood. That was crazy, dude. If WWE could go back, like with hindsight, and make things perfect, right? This match should have been at Elimination Chamber to set us up for a Tiffany Stratton that just got a gritty, nasty victory over Nia Jax, and now looks like a threat against Charlotte Flair. And maybe Charlotte now has to take her more seriously, and maybe they could have worked a lot better off of each other after that nasty, gritty victory from Nia Jax. I always felt like that tag team match that they did at Elimination Chamber between Tiffy and Trish and Nia and Candice LeRae was just a dumb throwaway. And I feel like I've been vindicated. This is the match that we should have had all along at that show. I'm glad we got it on SmackDown. I'm glad that it happened, right? How many times did I say this feud needs to get paid off? Like, you can't just have Tiffany Stratton rolling around as the champion with this big asterisk over her championship reign that she's never actually properly beaten Nia Jax. Her only 2 victories are a cash-in and then a tag team match. We needed the actual definitive I'm better than Nia Jax victory.
Well, it's so funny when the shoes on the other foot, because we had Damian Priest cash in on Drew McIntyre, and then we're seeing a feud that is it's lost all its tread on its tires. Like, we've had definitive endings in this feud so many times, and yet it keeps on going. And I don't even think this is going to be the last instance of it either. Like, it blows my mind, because there was a moment where I was watching, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm looking too deep into it, when Drew McIntyre was cutting his promo, and I was just like, this doesn't seem like he has that same oomph that he was going up against CM Punk, right? That intensity, it feels like it's forced, like he's trying to rev himself up, and it's just like, and it's not because Damian Priest is a bad opponent. Clearly they have chemistry, and clearly they had some great moments together. But it's like, at this time, it's like, when is this going to end? I need to see an end game in sight, because with CM Punk, it was clear it was going to be a 3-match, and then Bad Blood was the ending. With this one, it seems as though it's like, well, I have nothing for you. I have nothing for you. Let's just put you guys together, and hopefully we'll see where it goes. And it's just, that is a huge disservice to someone as cool as Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. I said that in some of the comments, was like, it seems like you're hating Damian Priest. I was like, no, both of these dudes are drowning in this feud. They're not getting what they want out of it for each person. Drew is sitting on the, looking for greener pastures, essentially. And Damian is just not looking strong against Drew McIntyre. He literally got caved in with his head, but with Claymore against a chair. And now he looks strong because he did a South of Heaven against Drew McIntyre on the outside. I'm not putting it together. The pieces are not falling in place for both Damian and Drew here.
I agree. But like, feel like that's just a big symptom of Saturday night's main event in general. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, like, this point that I have, is that I feel like Saturday night's main event is really damaging the momentum of Monday Night Raws and Friday Night Smackdowns. I know now what I'm getting myself into with Saturday night's main event. Just a fun night of wrestling, right?
Yeah.
However, I have a hard time getting invested in the storylines that they're building towards Saturday night's main event. Like the build up to like Cena versus Truth, the build up of Jay and Logan. You just said it here, the build up of Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, which I'm sure will be a really, really fun match, a really fun cage match. So I'm looking forward to the show, right? Because I know what I'm getting myself into. Now I've signed the social contract to not expect anything big there. I've signed the social contract to just expect a fun night of wrestling. However, I don't feel like that social contract that me and WWE have now signed allows it to prevents it from criticism in the build-up to the show. Because it's hard for me to get emotionally invested in the storylines that they're showing on Raw and SmackDown that are building towards Saturday night's main event, because I know that these storylines will just start and end at Saturday night's main event. I'm having a hard time getting invested into the storylines because I know that it won't matter beyond Saturday night's main event. And I feel like that puts WWE storytelling in a little bit of a standstill. And I feel like we're seeing it here where they're kind of too trepidatious and don't want to fully commit to the build up to Money in the Bank, for example. And it's the singles matches and storyline based matches, non-Money in the Bank ladder matches that are going to happen there, because we need to get through Saturday night's main event first before we can get the crowd to fully emotionally invest beyond that show. But I think it kind of sucks that they're using time on Raw and SmackDown to get us emotionally invested on a show where the emotional investment doesn't really get paid off beyond that. That's all. I'm expecting a fun show, but when I see segments that are building up to that show that doesn't really have much payoff beyond it, it's tough for me to really gravitate to it.
I feel like they're doing that, though. They're trying with the Seth Rollins. I mean, Seth Rollins is kind of be like, hey, Gunther, after you're there, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be the one that wants my belt back. I see that they're trying to fit those pieces, but I think it's what you're saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is that they want us to crescendo with Jay and Logan, but we know that Jay and Logan piece isn't going to. We're hoping that WWE wants that piece to vault next into the Gunther, and then that bolts next into Seth Rollins, right? That's what they're hoping for, that the domino effect goes in a nice momentum. But you're saying that Saturday Night Main Event is like, we have this, it's seen as more as an obstacle, that we have to get through Jay and Logan to get to what we really want to get to, which is Gunther and the Seth Rollinses of the world.
Yeah, that I think you've encapsulated it perfectly. It does feel like an obstacle for us to get to the actual meaty storylines that will have consequences moving forward.
And it's the WWE presented it that own problem. Like, just let us focus on Jay and Logan. Don't bring up Gunther and Seth. Mm-hmm. Just keep it about Jay and Logan. And then that way we could have this proper build and end.
And maybe another symptom problem is maybe Saturday Night's Main Event is just too close to another PLE. Maybe it's also like a timing thing. Maybe this should have been at a different time in the year where there was a bit more of a lull, where there wasn't going to be a PLE a week and a half later, like we have here. I don't know. It's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing. I do want WWE to pretend to try to get me invested in Saturday Night's Main Event. And maybe what we need is just an actual tide shifting event at Saturday Night's Main Event. Because right now, I think my pessimism just comes off the back of 2 Saturday Night's Main Events that didn't really move the needle, right? So I'm just using historical evidence, and that historical evidence is preventing me from fully enjoying what WWE is presenting in terms of the build-up to Saturday Night's Main Event. It's a me problem, but I'm also a pretty generic fan. I don't think that I'm unique in any particular sense in terms of how I like the product, how I criticize the product. So I feel like if I'm feeling that way, there's probably a good portion of the audience that's probably feeling that way as well, where they're having a tough time getting emotionally invested in these storylines on Raw and SmackDown as they build towards Saturday Night's Main Event.
I have a question for you, and I asked this probably once to you before, but I think now is more important time. Do you feel that the WWE has designed its product to be watched, all of it? For example, I always feel like game developers don't design games to be played as much as people play them. Whereas, like, for example, like a streamer, right? Say a streamer loves Marvel Rivals. He will spend 80 hours or whatever playing this game. Like, we're talking about crazy god hours. And the designer could be like, I didn't design this game to be played forever. I designed it to be like, you pop it in for 2-3 hours a night and then you're done. Versus a streamer who's on it like 8 hours or 10 hours, 12 hours, etc. So my question for you is, as someone that literally watches Monday, NXT, SmackDown, and then the PLEs, and then the NXT PLEs, and then Saturday Night Main Event, and like, is it designed for you to watch 100%, or is the WWE's like, you know what, we design a product that if you miss 50, 60%, at least you'll be able to keep going with it until we hit our next milestone PLE?
I do think that WWE, the way that it's structured to get 100% out of the juices of the fruit, you're supposed to watch everything. Maybe not NXT, but everything that revolves around the crescendo of whatever they're building up to, right? If you want to get the most out of whatever PLE, you should be watching every single Raw and every single episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Obviously, not everybody can do that. So the show isn't strictly designed so that you can only enjoy it if you watch everything. I'm just saying, to get the full effect of it, I think that you are expected to watch every episode of Raw and SmackDown, and not necessarily expected to. I feel like that maybe was a wrong choice of words. I think rewarded by watching all of the episodes of Raw and SmackDown. You're rewarded by being more emotionally invested in the crescendo, right? The big climax, whatever PLE match that they're building up towards. I just don't feel that same type of reward when I watch Saturday Night's Main Event. You know what I mean?
That's the rub there. Yeah. Because like, I think what you're saying is those payoffs haven't been strong enough for you to be like, ooh, that was worth sitting through. That was worth sacrificing.
I think we hit it.
The build up to the PLE, right?
I think we nailed the wording that we're looking for here. I don't feel like the reward for the time I've invested in watching Raws and SmackDown is as good on a Saturday Night's Main Event compared to the reward that I get on other PLEs.
Wow. And so for you, what you need is a big swerve, a big memorable moment, something you'd be like, wow, it was worth sacrificing a Saturday night. The only days I probably have off, sacrificing a Saturday night as a WWE
Partly
fan.
that. I don't need monumental, game-changing things to happen. I just want whatever happens at that show for the next several episodes to be impacted by it. And that's where Saturday night's main event has failed, right? Remember when Jacob Fatu like murdered Braun Strowman, like left him destroyed. And we said that right there, that's the Saturday night main event making moment. This is why you need to tune into Saturday night's main event. Everyone that made a review for that show said that right there. That's the moment. And then 4 days later, Braun Strowman appears in the Royal Rumble as if nothing ever happened. We're like, oh, well, the reward that I thought that I got at Saturday night's main event for investing this time and effort and into watching the show wasn't real. I didn't actually get the payoff because the WWE product didn't have a continuation of the thing that happened at Saturday night's main event.
Like as if it was over. Like there's no.
Well, and we've used this example before. Like, and it'll always be a funny meme. Jey Uso losing to Gunther, and then 2 days later celebrating through the crowd with Travis Scott as if he won the damn thing, right? Like that. So the show is fun. Watch it. Seriously, watch it. It's a good night of wrestling. I wished that the emotional investment that us fans put into watching all these shows of Raws and Smackdowns and the lead up to it was worth the payoff. But so far, it hasn't been.
Okay, so this is going to be a great question to veer off to for a second here. I commented this on X. I said, Tyrese Halliburton, a whole segment on Raw, interview.
4
Karrion
minutes.
Kross,
4 minutes, by the way.
Zero, right? And then they commented as if they're not trying to expand in different markets. And I'm like, that's interesting. I get it. They're trying to capture that NBA type of vortex. They're trying to get those suck the eyes, as you said, from the NBA because they quote unquote wrote it. And a lot of people spread the meme of them of New York Knicks and the Pacers in the West Eastern Finals. Like I totally get they're trying to capitalize on that wave, but I feel that the NBA fan will only watch WWE if there's a crossover. And then that NBA fan won't probably stay if the NBA guy is not there. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. It's like when YouTubers grow their channels by doing giveaways. They'll only come for giveaways and won't actually watch your stuff. I get what you're saying. I personally think that I love Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's such a good dude. He's such a good dude, such a likable player, and one of those guys. I'm like, I'm so glad that this is one of the guys that's becoming a star in the NBA. I think most people would agree. Maybe not Knicks fans. That's public enemy number one right now. I get it. Sports fandom. You guys hate Tyrese Halliburton. You guys are in the right. But I feel like that segment on Raw, when I look at the Venn diagram of fandom, right? Those that are fans of the NBA and fans of the WWE, that was designed for people that were watching the show at the moment who were fans of the WWE and the NBA. Huge portion of the planet does not fall under that category. Huge portion of WWE fans that live in markets where basketball isn't big at all. Or if they do live in a world, in a basketball market, maybe it's EuroLeague basketball that's big and not necessarily the NBA. So the Venn diagram for us Americans might feel like it's bigger, but it's much smaller when you really break it down. So that segment really catered to a small portion, not even to all NBA fans, by the way, because if I'm a Celtics fan, I don't care about Tyrese Halliburton being here, you know? So it's a really, really niche portion of the audience that they were targeting that was already watching the show. To me, this type of segment, this type of moment has a lot more of an organic reach had it been on social media. Let's reach the people that aren't watching the show right now. That's where this type of thing is valuable. Let's put this on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, and let's find the eyeballs that fit the Venn diagram of NBA, Pacers, Halliburton fans that could maybe be interested in WWE to win those eyeballs into our product. But instead, they decided to cater that segment to people that are already watching the product. And I just don't think that fandom, that Venn diagram is as big as maybe some people believe. That's why there was frustration among so many fans about that segment. And yeah, we can talk about like the obvious hot button topic, Karrion Kross. But I could list a litany of people that could have benefited from that 4-minute segment that was there. A bunch of people that do not get enough screen time. And like the New Day's promo, it wasn't very good, but they're trying with the tag team division. That was on commercial break. Where's Ludwig Kaiser? 4 minutes that could have gone to somebody else on the actual product, and this could have been a way to reach new eyeballs outside of the product to bring them into the product. That's my opinion on it, as somebody that actually likes Tyrese Halliburton.
And for what, sir? At WWE 2K DLC back.
Right. And again, that's now targeting an even smaller demographic. Not all now we're targeting WWE fans that are NBA fans, that are Pacers fans, that are Halliburton fans that play WWE 2K. We're even trickling down even more, which is why this segment landed so flat with so many people. That's my thoughts. Am I off base there?
No, you're not off base there. I'm just trying to ring the bell for Karrion Kross. That is the sword that I've picked up. That is the shield and sword that I have picked up for Karrion Kross. I'm here for him, and I will fall for him when he leaves the WWE.
Do you remember that old PlayStation commercial where like all of the different characters that are at a bar? He's just like, Omaha, pinned down in the beaches of Normandy. He got me out of there, and it's just they're all talking about the same player. This is you in in that bar talking about Karrion Kross.
That is what we got to do. I mean, it worked. He said so himself. He made a post saying that they hear you, that he got his shirts inside the arena. I'm like, that's cool. Your shirts in the arena, Karrion. But brother, you got to get in the ring somehow, man. I don't know what we got to do to help you get in the ring. You got to be on Monday night. You were still on main event, but you weren't even on main event. You weren't even in the arena when your shirt was in the arena, man. They are giving you test and test and test. It's like they move the goalpost for you. Like, oh, you want your shirt in the arena? Cool. We won't put you on that show. Even, I don't know, was there a dark match with him in it? But the point is, it's like they keep moving the goalpost for our boy Karrion Kross. What else he has to do, huh? What else?
I'm with you, man. I think I'm gonna be. We're like Lord of the Rings, Gimli and Orlando Bloom. What's his name in the show? Legolas. All right, we're now it's just like I never thought I'd fight beside a Sancho. How about fighting next to a friend? Now we're both fighting the good fight for Karrion Kross, man.
How about fighting next to a Karrion Kross fan? I could do that. Yeah. Dude, it's just shocking to me how Karrion Kross is a hot commodity and there's no buzz for him. And like I said before, if he does leave, it's just going to be watered down. I don't see him and much all peace and love to Karrion Kross. There's no Cody Rhodes route for him. He doesn't have that opportunity to be a legacy guy to make a return like that because his stint in the WWE hasn't been as lasting, and he doesn't have the name of Cody Rhodes, and he probably knows that. He probably knows that this is one of his last hurrahs. I mean, he made a video in that documentary saying that the people say there's always grass greener on the other side. He's like, forget all that. You need to tend to your lawn and fertilize it and make it grow here. And I think that's what he wants to do. And he said that the WWE is his dream place, but all I know is if he say he goes to TNA, yes, that keeps him in the ecosystem of the WWE, but and there's a lot of people go like, well, they've already written their stories months in and out. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. The WWE could pivot. They could pivot. And what annoys me the most, Santi, is what you said last week is that they're going to make us look all stupid. You, me, the Gimlis and the Legolases of the world, the Aragons of the world, where they're just going to put him in the Money in the Bank and he's going to win. And before you know it, we will all look stupid. And all Papa H just sits there like Saruman. You see?
Well, you know what? You brought up the topic of Money in the Bank. Let's dive into this for a second. Obviously, we have Money in the Bank qualifiers. I've come up with a list of, I don't know, I think I have like 20 people here, and I'm just gonna throw out the names. And I feel like we should talk about like whether or not they could make a good Mr. or Miss Money in the Bank. Would you be interested in seeing this, etc.?
Sure.
Are you interested, Sancho, in going through this list? You don't have a
Mehaps
choice.
I am. That was
Mayhaps,
for Bryce.
my lord. Yes, mehaps.
Bryce hates on me saying mehaps, and I said it's because I want you to say mehaps.
Mehaps. Chad Gable. I feel like this would be so fascinating. It'd be fascinating for a couple of reasons. It'd be most fascinating in a world where El Grande Americano won it, because it'd be so funny to see Chad Gable struggle with the idea of he holding the briefcase but not him, so not being able to celebrate it because it's technically somebody else that holds the briefcase. That would be pretty funny. But Chad Gable, I think, is a perfect character for the briefcase in terms of how he's surrounded by American Made, the type of heel that he is, the thing that's going on with him and Grande Americano. I don't know that the champions that are currently on the board, you know, like John Cena and Jey Uso, really allow for Chad Gable to flourish as a Mr. Money in the Bank. I do think that Chad Gable and Jey Uso could be interesting. Hell, John Cena versus Chad Gable would be great, but I just don't see either of those realistically dropping the title to Chad Gable, whether he has the briefcase or not. But I feel like Chad Gable would be an awesome choice.
It'd be a fun choice for Adam Pearce to put him in a catch-22 situation. Like, oh, okay, Chad, you're in, and Grande Americano, you're both in. It would be a waste of a spot, but it would be one of those like those 80s movies, you know, you're in two places at once. You got two dates, you know what I mean? You got to go back and forth. And you know,
classic shenanigans.
Classic. Yes, he's gonna
classic
go to the ring.
That was the climax of Mrs. Doubtfire. That's how that movie ended, right? Him having to go back and forth between the job interview and the dinner with his family.
Dinner. Yeah. Realistically, you just say you can't go to one, right?
Can we reschedule? I know it's a big interview. Any chance we can move this to like an hour?
It's like I feel like a lot of problems people just assume you can't reschedule things. You can.
Absolutely.
You can reschedule things. You could make things happen. I always find it funny that, you know, in modern television and modern movies, they always have to figure out how to get rid of a cell phone. They have to figure out like there's no signal, there's EMP, all the communication towers are knocked out because a lot of the problems would be solved with a text message or a phone call.
Well,
like
that's
those Seinfeld episodes.
Exactly. You literally just took it out of my mouth. Seinfeld doesn't work if cell phones exist because it's all just miscommunication hijinks where one person thinks something versus another, but they're not at the same place at the same time to confirm what they think. And then hilarious shenanigans happens.
Mr. Art Vandelay shenanigans.
Carmelo Hayes. What do you think about Carmelo as a MITB winner here?
I feel like it'd be too early. It'd be one of those situations where, yes, I'm right now. I'm just to be upfront. I want to face to win this the Money in the Bank for the men. I mean, we've had 2 heel runs with it. We had that annoying Judgment Day run with it, where Damian kept running around and kept losing, and Finn Balor kept eating it. I want to see a face what they can do with it. But in regards to Carmelo, I feel like it'd be too early in that instance because Carmelo, it'd be one of those things where if he does win, it'd be a short reign. And if he does have the Money in the Bank, he will probably cash it in and lose. Like, I feel like that would be a way to make us happy that Carmelo Hayes has the Money in the Bank, and at the same time keep him in his place where he's not ready for that main event. I don't think he's just there yet. And I said this before with being Seth Rollins' third man video that I made on YouTube on my wrestling, Central West Wrestling. I feel like I'm just having way too much fun with Miz and Melo together. Like, there's just so much to explore there. Give him the belts. Give him I think the next natural step for Carmelo would be the tag team titles with Miz.
Sure. I do think that there is more room for growth for Carmelo Hayes before they give him something like this. If they were, I wouldn't necessarily hate it because you could grow Carmelo Hayes for an entire year alongside having the briefcase, right? I just feel like we have been jaded, especially with the Drew McIntyre cash-in and most of the women's cash-ins actually, with them burning it really, really quickly once it enters the ecosystem. But let's say Carmelo holds it for an entire year, pulls like a Dolph Ziggler, holds it for nearly 300 days, or maybe goes right to the wire. And we see the development and growth of Carmelo Hayes parallel alongside him being Mr. Money in the Bank. That could be interesting. That's where, to me, the appeal is of Carmelo Hayes being Mr. Money in the Bank. But I do think that if he were to win it, say, next year, it might be a better environment for him to be running around with the briefcase in, as opposed to running around in an environment where one of the championships is basically completely off limits because it's held by John Cena, and nobody would ever expect a cash in from Carmelo Hayes to be what ends John Cena's reign. You know what I'm saying? So there's stuff to like, but I think that there's different things that you could do with Carmelo Hayes to still keep him relevant and interesting, like what they're doing right now. I feel like they're doing a pretty solid job of that with Carmelo Hayes. So I don't think that this is somebody that like needs to win it, but if he does, I don't hate it.
But what ended up happening is like he will miss. That's the annoying thing.
But you don't miss.
Yeah, but he would miss like those. He would do those false cash-ins, and that'd be him. And that'd be him missing, and that'd be annoying. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's why we need, dude. How many times have we said out of sight, out of mind with the Money in the Bank briefcase winner? Just have him go out there holding it, and not fake cash in every other friggin' episode.
Hold it like Sami. You see this briefcase? That means at any time I could cash in. You see this briefcase?
You see this
Only
briefcase?
the elite could have this briefcase.
Ivy Nile. A little bit of an oddball choice, just because this isn't one of the traditional main eventers. This is somebody that is a great worker. Her work rate, I think, has gotten so much better throughout the last couple of years that we've seen her. I like Ivy Nile as an option because it catapults somebody brand new, right? It takes somebody from not necessarily obscurity, but then it all of a sudden makes them relevant and the most dangerous woman in the roster because of this power with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and you have the ability to pull the trigger and maybe create a new star. Does that intrigue you, or does Ivy Nile not do it for you in that regard? I like the fact that she would also be surrounded by Chad Gable in American Made that could help boost her Money in the Bank run. But what are your thoughts on an Ivy Nile type character?
Do I feel it? Do I feel it, sir?
Do you feel it, sir?
No, she lacks that. She hasn't uncovered the personality on her own to carry it. She would have to heavily rely on the American Made in the Chad Gable.
I
Chad
agree.
Gable would be the one be like, listen to me. I'm the one to tell you when to cash it in. I'm the one, as if it's like his, a la like a Christian Cage.
Which that would be interesting. That in itself would be interesting if you have the motivations and character of Chad Gable driving the women's briefcase. That there could be something there.
If they were to, push Ivy Nile out of American Made by a face turn with that and be like where she stands up for herself and she cashes in when she wants to, maybe it's not as like it doesn't pop off the page for me, You got to have the Money in the Bank needs to pop off the page. There's a lot of bigger names that could pop off the page that doesn't rely on a faction to carry it. And I feel like if you can't carry it on your own, then you're not ready for Money in the Bank.
Okay. What about a Penta? Penta, who now is regularly taking losses in major matches, has lost at WrestleMania, lost back-to-back matches with Dominic Mysterio, just lost and got pinned by none other than Balor himself. Penta, more like Pinta, am I right, Sancho?
It's not clean losses though, brother.
But they're
Come
losses.
on.
But they are losses nonetheless. This guy went from being a guy that wouldn't take any losses to being protected to now taking 4 straight pins, brother.
Look at you. What's underneath that hat? Is there a rat with an AEW hat underneath there?
Just Ratatouille over here. It's the little rat Tony Khan. Justified. This is awesome chance.
You just try to say like, oh, look at Penta and Ray. Look at Ray jobbing out to the Bloodline, Timu Bloodline over and over again. That's ridiculous. I think all roads point to Ray and Penta reuniting, and Penta being Money in the Bank would derail that road that we're on, that train that we're on. I think that Penta and Ray could work really well. I think Penta and Ray, if they work well, would do what Motor City Machine Guns were supposed to do for that tag team division, catapult it to a whole stratosphere. I think when Motor City got the belts early, everyone thought, like, great, they're going to be able to catapult this division. It didn't really go anywhere as much. I mean, it was a part of the big piece of the SmackDown moving forward, sure, but it wasn't groundbreaking as the Lucha Brothers, dude. If you have the Lucha Brothers being your tag team champions, that could bring in other tag team champions from around the world. That'd be interesting to me. That sounds exciting. And I think Penta as a Money in the Bank wouldn't be as exciting as that.
Okay, I was trying to bring it back to that because we almost dove into a topic that we talked heavily about last week, like the Lucha Brothers, but Money in the Bank. Obviously, we know Rey Fenix has been eliminated already, which I think is a shame, man. I think that's the type of luchador wrestler that you want in this match. The guy that no one is expecting to win, but like the guy that's gonna put on an amazing match and maybe make the winner have an awesome spot to make them look great. I felt like Rey Fenix absolutely should have been in this match. I don't see Penta as Money in the Bank winner either. I'm having a hard time buying into that. Predominantly because of how WWE is booking him, not necessarily the losses, but I mean like where in the card he's in, right? He's in this Judgment Day. It seems like the word of the year now is Vortex, right? He's in the Judgment Day Vortex.
And they said it on TV. We started saying it. And they said it on TV.
They did. He's in the Judgment Day Vortex, which there's no world champion in that vicinity that would make him an interesting holder of the briefcase. I would pass on Penta personally, but let's move on.
He would look sick in all green ring gear, though.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Hell yeah, dude.
My briefcase!
Wait, dude. Him with the briefcase doing that walk?
Ooh, the smooth operator walk? Okay, I'm sold. Give me Penta. Give me Penta. Money in the Bank winner. Bron Breakker. This is...
Cashing it, stupid.
Bron Breakker, I feel is one of those, if he's in the match, he's just winning, right? He makes just way too much sense, especially considering it's a future. What's that?
He spears the ladder.
That'd be a sick spot, though. If somebody was climbing and he just speared the ladder and broke it.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be insane. But in a faction that's all about the future, it doesn't get more future than a future world championship opportunity that basically almost guarantees you to be a future world champion. It almost fits the mold so perfectly that if he's in the match, if I'm betting money, I'm putting it all on Bron Breakker. It's just a question, like, does WWE want to put him in this situation this early on? I feel like it would be far more interesting of a prospect if Bron Breakker won next year's and was put in a situation where he now has the briefcase and the champion is in his own faction, right? It's what created the really fun drama that was one of the better storylines of the Ruthless Aggression era of Batista winning the Royal Rumble while Triple H was the World Heavyweight Champion, right? That's what created the drama. If Bron Breakker is holding the Money in the Bank briefcase and Seth Rollins is not the champion, I think we're missing out on what could be a fantastic storyline between these two, briefcase holder and champion, always kind of having to look over your shoulder. You never know when Bron Breakker is going to pull the trigger. You never know when Paul Heyman is going to sever ties with you to go with the inevitable future champion, Bron Breakker. I just think that the best position to put Bron Breakker in is either a Rumble or Money in the Bank briefcase victory when Seth Rollins is champion.
Or Chamber.
Sorry?
Or Chamber win.
Or Chamber win. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Or Chamber win. Yeah. I like the idea more of the Rumble and briefcase because Chamber, you win and you don't really have a choice. That's the champion you're facing, right? But Rumble and Money in the Bank, you have to now make that emotional decision yourself of will you do this to your mentor, to your leader, Seth Rollins.
I just thought of like terrible Sancho booking where someone wins the Rumble, wins the briefcase and Chamber.
Well, a lot of people wanted Cena to win, for example, like Money in the Bank so no one could cash in on him, right? And I'm like, this is stupid.
Oh my God. Who would want that? Oh, that's a good way to ruin wrestling. You don't understand. John Cena said he wants to ruin wrestling, and he's doing exactly that. Oh my God. It's hard to have these civil conversations with people when they pull that card. You know, you're like you could have it going back and forth, and then John Cena said he was going to ruin wrestling. Oh, come on. How can we progress here, man?
All right, let's move on here. Talking about ruining wrestling. What if we live in a universe where Charlotte were to win the Money in the Bank briefcase after the debacle and the universal hate of her winning the Royal Rumble? What if she were to win the Money in the Bank briefcase? This is one of the few accolades that she has never won, which we know WWE loves putting these notches, these badges of honor of different things that she's accomplished to Charlotte Flair. Could Money in the Bank be one of those? I say maybe somewhere down the line. I don't think Charlotte ever needs this, by the way. But if they were to do it, do this somewhere further down the line, because right now I feel like it would be a brutally tone-deaf decision to give this to a Charlotte Flair.
Dude, she is a walking Money in the Bank.
Exactly.
She could literally challenge anybody at any time.
Exactly. But I say somewhere down the line because they've done that to people who are walking Money in the Banks. They've given it to a Randy Orton before. They've given it to a Cena. They gave it to a Lesnar. All not necessarily the greatest decisions, right?
Good old Ali sitting there. Dude, just grab it.
I know, dude.
He's still coming. Just grab it. There's nothing you can do.
To be fair, Lesnar was sprinting, and I was like, oh man, that is a German battle tank, just sprinting down that ramp.
Oh man, I think Charlotte would be fascinating choice because it'd be seen as she's a dying star, like a sun. And that's her last hope to regain, maybe. But the only thing is like I would put not a pause in it, but I would go, It's because Alexa and her are trying to form some sort of union. Like that's one of the strangest storylines that I've seen so far. It's like, where's this Alexa Charlotte route going? And Charlotte's like saying, I don't need you, and I don't want to be your friend. And Alexa's like, let's be friends. It's almost strange to me that the WWE has latch this Alexa shooting star, or a comment that comes every once in a while is clearly one of the top faces of SmackDown.
Haley's car.
And trying to put it with Charlotte Flair, which is clearly, like you said, it's there's a lot of baggage there right now for the WWE.
I don't like the idea of Charlotte Flair.
I no-sold your little song there, little ditty.
That's all right. A little what?
Nothing.
What did you say?
Say what?
You said something. More realistic option that I think would be mostly universally praised. Roxanne Perez. Let's hear your thoughts here.
Oh, dude, I'm all in. I'm going to be always biased with her because she's from Laredo. I'm from Laredo. It's not, and it's clear as day is that there's huge plans for her. Already signed to the main roster of Raw. Got a main event at 23 years old, and in pairing with the Judgment Day, I'm like, oh my, how genius of the WWE to retread this trend that works so well with Dominic Mysterio. And what makes it really work, I know people are already going to be like, oh no, another love triangle for Dom to run into. It was
the best storyline of the summer last year. Like it just was.
It's more of that Finn Balor understands what is Dominic's weakness. And it is a woman with tendies, brother. A woman with nugs. Yes, she forgot the ranch dressing, but that doesn't matter, man. And I love that she's going after Carlito too with a bag of apples. It was a really fun moment. But what's really great is Roxy, and I noticed this, and it's what's quite interesting. And I called it out when she had that match with Rhea. I was like, she looks like Rhea. And there's an instance where Michael Cole accidentally called her Rhea when a breakup of a pin, right? In a moment, I was like, is she trying to be like Rhea? Like, is she trying to, when I said hand the rocks to crate or the crying game, is she trying to replace Rhea by dressing up like Rhea? And now she's going to the Judgment Day, appearing to in the same faction. I'm intrigued, dude. And I think if she wins Money in the Bank, it's always a thing for Judgment Day. They are always at their best when they have tools, when they have belts, when they have Money in the Bank. And I know I'm eating my words because the way they booked with Damian, but I'm saying they are a powerful faction when they have those things. When they had nothing, they kind of suck to watch. You know,
They did.
When they have when they have nothing going for them, they're kind of annoying because they just bicker at each other. But when they have these power, I guess WWE kind of like Game of Thrones power chips, when they hold the cards, they're a very interesting faction to watch because they're like a family. They're leaderless, but they're always trying to stab each other in the back, which is a very fun ride to watch.
Yeah, and Roxanne Perez, if she were to properly join the Judgment Day and were to bring that briefcase to the Judgment Day, oh man, and then by the time that Liv Morgan comes back, that could be some really entertaining TV. I do like the idea of this. I also just like the idea of creating a new star like they did last year with Tiffany Stratton, right? I see a lot of similarities in the way that they
Liv Morgan and Judgment Day,
yeah. I see a lot of similarities with how they've booked Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton upon like their main roster call up, right? Initial success with Tiffany Stratton in Elimination Chamber, and then having a great match at Backlash in that 3-way with Bayley and Naomi, and then a little bit of a hiatus, kind of like disappeared, and then Money in the Bank, right? Kind of the same thing is happening with Roxanne Perez. Huge showing at the Royal Rumble, record-breaking showing, second place, great showing at Elimination Chamber, disappears, and now probably going to shoot back up for Money in the Bank. I would prefer for WWE to focus on creating a new realistic star, right? Because I mentioned Ivy Nile, that would be creating a new star, but that is a massive gamble that would not work. It might not work. Sorry, let me just say that might not work. Roxy, I feel like is like buying real estate. You know it's going to appreciate in value, and now you're just you're putting in a new deck to increase the value of that house. And that new deck could be the Money in the Bank briefcase to appreciate the value of the real estate that is absolutely going to appreciate in value in Roxanne Perez.
You think adding a deck to your home adds value?
Of course.
Huh.
Of course. Yeah. I don't, maybe decks aren't a thing in Texas as much.
Oh, they are. They are.
Okay. All right. But yeah.
We love a good deck here.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love a good deck? Yeah, but
decks are great.
Decks are amazing.
What's wrong with you? You can't talk about a deck without giggling?
I'm not giggling. Are you giggling?
I'm not giggling.
All right, well then so let's just call it what it is. We're two grown men and we love decks. That's it.
Love a good deck.
Yeah. Good wood, right?
We have a job here to do. Get your bite out of these decks.
I couldn't. It was right there. I could not take that low hanging fruit,
brother. Just got a mind for deck. I get it.
That's all. Julia.
Gulia. That's what I think of every time.
Julia Gulia. Yeah. Julia. We had a friend in elementary school, and we called her Julia Gulia. So.
Every Julia, if you're a Julia out there, I'm sorry. If you're a Julia out there, do you think Julias have it worse or Karens? I think Karens have it worse these days, you know?
Karen, absolutely. Yeah. I bet you Karen is a name that with the next generation of babies from millennials and Gen Zs, it dies out. No one's going to want to name their kid Karen because of what's happened. The Karens have it the worst.
Sorry, Karen.
Shout out to the Karens out there. Except Karen. If you are a Karen, then... mind your business. Karen isn't the name, Sancho. It's a way of life.
Oh, a way of life?
It's a way of life.
I do miss Bailey Karen. That was a good heel gimmick. It was fun.
Right down to the haircut, too. She really leaned into it. Julia, now part of Friday Night SmackDown. I'm going to pass on this, not because I don't want Julia as Money in the Bank winner. I just feel like Julia is the perfect character to elevate the U.S. title right now. That is where I would prefer Julia to be in. That is the title that I want Julia to carry, elevate, make better. What?
Can't cash in on that bad boy?
You can.
Austin Theory style?
Oh, but that'd be so lame. No, Julia doesn't need to cash in on that. If they were to give it to Julia, I'm on board. Again, new star. Yeah. Hell yeah, sure. I just think when I look at where your resources might be best suited, Julia right now being a new asset to the main roster that isn't really getting much of a reaction yet, right? Because the main roster fans don't really know Julia, and I would gather that 95% of main roster fans do not watch NXT. It's gonna take a little while to build up, like the Julia aura farming that she had down in NXT, and I think it's best suited right now for the mid card titles. Thoughts? What say you?
What say me is I feel bad for Julia. I feel like she appeared with a lot of pomp and circumstance. Everyone got hyped for her because the biggest signing, and then immediately Stephanie Vaquera showed up, and it was like, oh, and then Zarya and Stephanie Vaquera all almost at once.
Yeah,
and everyone was like, ooh,
Jordan Grace like a couple months later.
Jordan Grace too. So it's like it's kind of insane that one of your biggest assets going earlier into the season that you signed essentially just gets pushed to the side, and then now she's on SmackDown, where she could kind of fall to the wayside too very quickly. I think if they were going to put the Money in the Bank, it would be a way to solidify her importance to the WWE going forward. But I do think her route and her job should be to push that mid card up higher, because not to say Chelsea Green did a bad job of it, but it's more that the booking did a disservice to Chelsea Green and Michin and everybody else around that United States title. And I think it's because they just lacked a lot. I hate saying this, but they need some names in there, and I think Julia does add a name to there. Julia's biggest obstacle, and she's working on, of course, is her promos, but it'll get there. And I think if they found a way for Asuka, and they'll find a way for Nakamura, they can definitely find a way for Julia to excel in Io Sky. So
I think
there's a road to that.
I think Julia will find a good place on the main roster. I just think that the first Lego piece fits best in the mid card at the moment, as opposed to Money in the Bank. But I wouldn't hate it. No,
wouldn't hate it.
You know what? I really would not hate Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio as a briefcase holder, it would be so good.
And IC title holder?
Plenty of evidence of that. We've had that lots of times. The Miz, U.S. champion, Money in the Bank briefcase holder. Austin Theory did that. Damian Priest, tag team champion and Money in the Bank briefcase. So more common than people might recognize.
It's more like I don't see it in a Triple H era. He's like we'd be wasting two chips in one pond, so to speak.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Phrase goes, 2 chips in one pond.
Yes, that's. Then again, I don't think Triple H is particularly concerned about wasting, considering he wasted last year's Money in the Bank after 40 minutes of it entering the chat.
He got banned.
Instantly, man.
Dude, it was so crazy. The momentum of Triple H booking was at an all-time high, and then that happened. We were like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Very questionable.
It's okay. Dom, IC title holder, and Money in the Bank.
Sure. What do you think?
I think it would be the only thing would be to goad on. Oh, that'd be interesting if Dom and Roxy had it at the same time.
That'd be sick, right?
Ooh.
That'd be sick.
Ooh.
And Roxy got the matching briefcases while Liv is there.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we're doing it again. Okay. We're doing it again.
And then the WWE puts them together because they're touring together as the Money in the Bank, and they go Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank on accident every now and then. Miss Money in the Bank.
We now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank.
Whoa!
A Money in the Bank wedding.
Oh no! And Dom's like, no. I'm just a man that wants tendies and play my PlayStation 5. Oh my goodness. It's funny that the WWE 2K gets the most burned from the Judgment Day plane.
Yeah, that's like their entire marketing budget. It goes to Carlito having it paused on the options menu.
Every time. But that'd be interesting if Dom would do it. I think it would add to his aura. It would feel like he's a collector, which is always something cool for a heel to have. And I think what would be interesting is that he would say, like, I'm going to cash this in much more. Like, there's not going to be any fake cash-ins or anything that would be more successful with it than, yes, Damian was eventually got champion, but I like the idea of being pompous about it, right? There's not going to be no fake cash-ins or failed cash-ins. I'm going to do this right. And he could rub it in Finn's face more and more. Mm-hmm. You think there's going to be a big payoff, bro? Like we're being built to this Finn Balor Dominic explosion, right? That's what's being built, right? That's the road that we're on. Finn Balor is manipulating Dom with Roxy, and Dom is getting his power over Finn, and he's clearly the leader now in this leaderless faction. But Remember when we had this payoff between Damian and Finn and it went nowhere?
It went nowhere. But
So-
your question wasn't, will the payoff lead to something? Your question was, will there be a payoff? Because there was a payoff to the tension between Finn and Damian, which was the great SummerSlam moment. They just didn't do anything beyond it. Are you asking me, will they create, will Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio have their SummerSlam big moment? Or will they actually have a long-standing, entertaining feud, which is what Damian and Finn were not able to have?
The second part.
Okay.
Will they have a long, entertaining feud? Like, where do you
I'm
see
less
this, where do you see
convinced in
these
that.
ending?
I'm just less convinced that they'll actually do that. I think that I'm more convinced in the big singular moment happening than the long, entertaining feud. Mostly because evidence shows that they won't do that for Finn Balor.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, if it goes down to a Finn Balor versus Dom match for the control of Judgment Day, we know that in the best interest, if Finn wins, great, he regains control. But if Dom wins, like, I'd rather Finn win and keep Judgment Day, and then Dom does his own thing. Because Dom's so cool on his own, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't he
I
be
agree.
like a cool guy to be on his own? Anyway, I just don't see what's the end game for Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio besides like a turn or betrayal that, like you mentioned, it could just be in the moment and then we move on.
Mm-hmm. I can vibe with that. Let's move on here. Sticking kind of like in the topic of Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley has qualified. I will say, I feel like Rhea Ripley doesn't really fit the mold of what I want.
Like she was supposed to win.
Yeah,
because we haven't talked about it yet with Zoe's injury.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about. We have it later on in the show, but I do believe that Rhea was always meant to pin Zoe. I don't think that WWE intended to bring back Kairi Sane to be pinned. I think it was Kairi Bane. Yes, sister. They're expecting one of us in the wreckage of my elbow, sister. I don't think that was ever the intention to bring her back to be pinned. I think it was always meant to be Zoe Stark to be pinned there, which obviously super unfortunate what happened. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the episode. I do think she was always meant to win. Yeah, I would say so.
Here she is.
I just think that she's a weird fit for this. I'm sure she might put somebody through a ladder. That'd be kind of cool. But I think at this point, Rhea is just in the same breath and conversation as those walking Money in the Bank briefcase holders. You know, they are a briefcase in their own right because they're so popular, so over, and so ingrained in the main event scene. Hell, I can't remember the last Rhea feud that wasn't for a title. Can you? Off the top of your head?
Well, there was one that wasn't for the title.
That wasn't for the title.
Then she just put herself into the title.
Yeah, exactly, right? So she's so synonymous with the title picture that I feel like the Money in the Bank briefcase is an unnecessary plot device to put her into something that she's already perennially in. You know what I mean?
I think she's in the Money in the Bank to solidify the winner on the Money in the Bank.
Perhaps. Maybe create a feud within somebody in there, shenanigans that prevent her from winning, whatever it might be. But I just don't think that this is the right call for a Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley
you think,
doesn't need
she
this.
Cashes in? If she wins, she cashes. I think if she wins, she cashes in that night.
Oh, no, dude. So I just made a video ranking Money in the Bank briefcase holders, and all but two have cashed in within a 24-hour period. The first one, three. Io Sky took 30 days, and it's still not very long. Tiffany Stratton and Carmella held for a while. Everyone else was for like a day or the same night. Nikki ASH cashed in the night after on Monday Night Raw. Asuka was awarded the championship the night on Monday Night Raw. Liv Morgan cashed in night of. Alexa Bliss cashed in night of. Bailey cashed in night of. They're lazy, man. They've been historically lazy with the women's booking of Money in the Bank.
I'm saying if Rhea wins, it's a way to put the belt on her like ASAP. It's not like drawn out. Let me hold on to it and wait for the perfect moment. She's not that kind of a character.
Be interesting if it were. I still don't like this, but like I'm just putting myself in a world where Rhea wins. If Rhea were to win at the start of the night and say, "I want my match against Io Sky tonight," and then we get Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley in a full PLE match that very same night. It could be interesting later on in the night.
I feel that with Bianca Belair's injury, I think they're putting the belt on Rhea sooner than you think. Because, I mean, clearly they probably had plans for Bianca to do something with Naomi.
Io's over. Io's over, though.
So is Rhea.
Rhea's way more over. Rhea's like the most over act right now. Those pops are thunderous. Absolutely thunderous.
Did you like that CM pop last night? That was
cool.
Man.
That was cool. And they were singing the song.
They sang his song. Yeah. Nice. Shout out to Greensboro.
Fun crowd. If you're serious about sports betting, you need a sports book that actually works for you. And that's why I use MyBookie. MyBookie, you're in control. Better odds, bigger wins, and less hassle than the other guy. With the biggest selection of player and prop bets, early cash out options, and live betting that lets you jump in at any time, the fact is you get to play your way at MyBookie. And it's not just sports. MyBookie hosts the party that never ends with a full-fledged casino because they've got everything from blackjack, roulette, to video poker, and slots. Folks, if you're new to MyBookie, sign up with promo code Santi and get a deposit boost of up to $2,000. Again, that's promo code Santi. Make sure you use that when you're making your account. So don't settle for a second-rate sports book. Bet smarter, win bigger, only at MyBookie. Now let's get you back to the video. Jade Cargill. How do we feel about Jade Cargill? Because this is an interesting scenario. This is somebody that's in the main event, picture adjacent. Somebody that is clearly designed for world championship stardom sometime soon. I'll just say this. It's inevitable that she's a world champion. I think that WWE is more likely to give her a Rumble victory than a briefcase.
I like that idea. I mean, she was solid in her debut in the Rumble. She came so close to using that final apron spot, which was really sick. I think the only reason why they would give it to Jade Cargill is the Money in the Bank is a great crutch, though. It's a great crutch for promos. It's a great crutch for a presence. You could literally just call yourself Miss Money in the Bank, and you could be threatening in that way. Will add a little bit of heat to you, no matter what you do. It amps you to another level. So it's like a great plus. You know, it's a good boost to whatever you're doing. So if the WWE wanted to give that to Jade, I think that'd be great. And it will make her promos a little bit simpler for her. So if they were going to make her a little bit stronger and keep things simple with her, I think the Money in the Bank would look great on her. And I could see her winning with a cool, strong spot, like the a la Drew McIntyre throwing the like a just ladder at somebody. Yeah, there's so many of those moments that I think she would excel in. And at the same time, we always need a powerhouse in a Money in the Bank ladder match, man. We always do. You got to have that strength to flip it over and do some gnarly stuff with it. So I'm hoping she wins because it'd be a great... I like the idea of a Royal Rumble, but I think Money in the Bank will look good on her. Okay.
I think Money in the Bank would look better on the next person, Naomi. Both from a character perspective. We see her kind of like biding her time. We see her in the background
old Karrion
segment.
Kross. The old Nakamura.
Yes, but with actual screen time and actually being valued and being given storylines and matches. So very much not like Karrion Kross. But just kind of how I see her creeping in the back. I could see her creeping around with the briefcase behind champion interviews, you know, like back there with the briefcase, kind of waiting for a moment. Proceed with caution. I think it fits
a yellow
her
briefcase?
Type of character at the moment. The briefcase.
Ooh, give it a yellow with the caution tape all over it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of doing a gimmick briefcase. I mean, Damian had his. Tiffy had hers.
Tiffy had a great one, yeah.
Tiffy had the pink one, and I love the strap it had, the little like purse strap. That was really clever. And who gave her that pink briefcase?
Nia Jax, and she betrayed her. Disgusting behavior from Tiffany.
I like the idea. But I don't think they're gonna go that route though.
All right. I'll lump everyone into this here. What about somebody from NXT? The names that come to mind are like Javon, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, Jordan Grace, maybe Sol Ruka, Stephanie Vacher. I think like maybe, I don't know. I feel like that would be a way to solidify NXT as a third brand more than anything. right? Like, yeah, now we have an NXT guy or girl running around with a briefcase across all different shows, and they can also cash in on the NXT title. That to me would be telling the world, wait. Evolve is her developmental. LFG is her developmental. NXT, that's a TV brand deal, baby. That's on all households across the United States. That is a show that we want to showcase as something that you can't miss.
I like that idea.
Thoughts?
I like that idea.
That'd be bold. But bold is what gets you eyeballs.
I think what would make it Ethan Page wins, and it really helps Triple H not deal with it in a positive way.
Oh, because he's so bad with dealing with it.
Yeah, if you're going to discard it, why throw it into the fire? Recycle it, brother. Let it have a second life somewhere else that would actually do really well in an intimate setting. That briefcase would be a huge card to have. And then imagine Ethan, all ego Page. You're like, I don't even have to cash it in here in this dump. I could go on the main roster and cash it in if I wanted to. Another excuse would be like if they wanted to call up Ethan Page, that would be a great way to do it. And he does it with the Money in the Bank. And now he could go wherever he wants and kind of make an appearance and be like, I don't know if I'm going to cash it in here. Monday Night Raw may not be a place for me. Then he could go to SmackDown, mess with Nick Aldis, be like, I don't know if there's a place because, I'm the tap, Mr. Money in the Bank. So there's so many good avenues for it. I do like that idea of if Triple H doesn't know what to do with it on the main roster between the Carmelos and the Bron Breakkers, if he doesn't want to add that power card to the playing field, then give it to NXT because Shawn Michaels will know what to do with it.
Okay. Karrion Kross. I'll let you take this one. Is this realistic at all? We talked about Karrion Kross, he's not getting any TV time, but like they could turn on the button, strap the rocket to his back, give him Money in the Bank. That'd be an interesting thing, but nothing is telling me that that's the case. Nothing is telling me that this is the route that they're going to go.
You know that one scene in Squid Games where he's like, I've been here before.
Yep.
I have been here before. And that's LA Knight. Okay. Yeah. They're going to give us the hope spot of hope spots for all the IWC nerds. We're going to go out there and look so excited that Karrion Kross is going to be up there, climb. And oh my God, Karrion's going to do it. And guess who's going to come in out of nowhere? I don't know.
Solo.
Jade Cargill in the midst.
Jade.
There's all of a sudden just going to, just rain on our parade. And all the Karrion Kross fans are going to be sad because that's what they're going to do. And you know what they're going to say, Santi? Is like, oh my God, look at the pop. Look how over Karrion Kross is. Look at the ability that Triple H is putting him over. He's ready to pop. Well, just give it to him there, man. Give him the briefcase right then and there. If you're ready to put this man over, don't tease us. And then all of a sudden, when it comes back around again, we're going to be like, well, what about LA Knight this year? Like, oh, I don't know. There's a guy named Karrion Kross could really use that briefcase more than LA Knight this year. And that's what happens, man. It's like you cannot procrastinate on the rise of a Karrion Kross because you did that with LA Knight and you could have easily given that title. They did the same thing. LA Knight was right there and Drew McIntyre comes in and reigns on that parade. If you're going to have LA Knight type of rise with Karrion Kross, which is very parallel, someone who got himself over without the really help with the brass. And I would argue though that Karrion Kross's rise has been without that much help as LA Knight because LA Knight actually got ring time, actually got mic time as well. Karrion Kross has none of those things going for him. All of the things is all in the background. So if you're going to do that to Karrion Kross, pull the trigger now. Don't tease us so hard that you're going to like, well, look at the crowd reaction. He is really over. We're going to do something with him soon and then give him absolutely nothing. It's all or nothing right now for Karrion, in my opinion. If you put him in the Money in the Bank, he has to win. There's no question to me that he needs to win. And I don't care if he cashes in on the mid-card title. I don't care if he cashes where he does, but for the love of God, give this man something. Yeah. Throw the freaking bone here.
I absolutely think that if he's in the match, that they're gonna do LA Knight 2023, where he's about to grab it.
Don't do this to me, Santi.
And El Campeon comes in and says, "All rise," and then takes the briefcase. I guarantee that that's what's gonna happen.
And then he's gonna feud with Damian Priest. Ew. Don't do this to me, Santi. Don't do this to me,
I'm
sir.
sorry, man, but they're gonna play on your emotions. They're gonna play. The guy that people think should win is going to lose last second. They did it with Jay last year. They did it with Karrion Kross. Sorry, with LA Knight. And if the Karrion Kross is in the match, he's going to be the one that gets screwed over last second.
Was it Jay and Drew at the end? Was it Jay up there?
It was Jay. Yeah, it was Jay, and then he got long guarded. Yeah,
with the ladder. You got yeeted with that ladder.
We talked about him already. LA Knight. I feel like he's most people's maybe odds-on favorite at the moment. Even though he's technically not even in the match yet, he still has to go into his qualifier with Nakamura and Aleister Black. Which, by the way, this is just the female version of Natalya, Becky Lynch, and Roxanne Perez. It's going to play out the exact same way, right? It's going to be Carmelo and The Miz interfering with Aleister Black and allowing LA Knight to pin Nakamura. They're going to do the exact same formula.
Unless LA Knight gets in trouble with you know who, JC Mateo, brother. We talk about a whole new name. Wait a minute. Somebody on Patreon, love and respect to you, because thank you so much for your $5 or 8 or 15. But you say the name is not important, that we're making a big deal out of Jeff Cobb's new name, and you call this man JC Mateo? Come on, man. A name is the most important thing. And this is the most shocking thing, Santi, is that they took a name that was an established name and they changed it for what? A worse name. It's not even cooler than Jeff Cobb.
It's a pretty lame name. I have to agree.
JC Mateo is awful. So I go into the bag of ChatGPT as we did earlier today, and I said, can you provide 10 alternative names for a professional wrestler from New Japan Wrestling called Jeff Cobb, and make sure it's highly marketable in the WWE setting? Titan Kane.
Titan Kane?
Yeah, Titan Kane.
I don't like that. Don't like that.
Juggernaut Jeff.
It's so bad.
Dominic Forge.
No, we already have a Dominic.
Okay. Kaiju Kane.
No.
Wait. Toa Prime. Ooh.
All right. Okay.
All right. Makoa Rage.
Maybe.
JC Crucible.
A crucible? What's a crucible? That's a thing, isn't it?
It's like where they cook things. It's like a big fiery, like the blacksmith.
Crucible, a ceramic or metal container in which metals or other substances may be melted. You said cooking. This is you don't cook things in here.
The same thing.
You don't cook things in here that may be melted or subjected to very high temperatures.
I know it's a play. You ever heard of the Crucible play? Anyway,
no.
Griffin Steel.
That's okay.
Okay. Cruise Inferno.
Stop. No, I just think too much of Disco Inferno.
All right. Best one right here. Cobb Stone, brother. Come on, dude. Yes, dude. Cobb Stone. You know what's better? Cobb Stone. You know what's worse? JC Mateo.
JC Mateo is not a good name.
It's a name that's on a DoorDasher. You know, here comes JC Mateo.
Your driver, JC Mateo, is 4 minutes away.
That does not sound like a
JC Mateo has dropped his food. Would you like to leave a tip?
It's like, it does not look like a man that's about to give you the tour of islands, brother, like he did LA Knight.
Great name for that move, Tour of Islands.
Oh, so great. And then when Joe Tessitore says the Tour of Islands, really nice. Great debut match for good old JC Mateo, but I refuse to call him JC Mateo. It's Jeff Cobb. Okay, that's a sick name.
Jeff Cobb is already a dope name. Yeah, it's an unnecessary change. I would agree. I'm not surprised that they did it, but
call him Cobb.
Do you think, because he was the next one that we were going to talk about, that he could be a helping deciding factor for Solo Sakoa to win Money in the Bank? Because he's qualified. He has qualified.
Solo has, yes.
And I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
What's wrong?
I don't hate the idea of Solo winning Money in the Bank.
Look, I'm the one that had the Solo flag bearer. I'm the one that's been waiting.
Hey, you've been asking for a heel. You you wanted a baby face.
I want a face.
Yeah,
but
never
I'm saying, like, I've been saying for a year or so that Solo Sokoa has been tossed to the wayside because of this Jacob Flat 2 shiny new toy that everyone's been enjoying, the Buzz Lightyear, and then you have poor Woody there and Solo Sokoa, who's fantastic.
You have a friend in me.
Who's he's a great charming heel. Like, rare to have a charming heel who could say goofy, solid things.
I've lost audio for 2 seconds. Give me a second.
Okay,
keep entertaining the masses.
Oh boy, his earbuds that he has are probably playing something weird. All right, we're back. You have an app for your earbuds?
No, what happened is that for my phone and my PC are connected to the earbuds. So somebody called me. So then on my earbuds, the ringtone was happening, but then it cuts off the audio of the PC. So I just turned off my Bluetooth on my phone.
What's your little ringtone? Where?
No, I don't change my ringtone. You know what? I was traumatized by ringtones in the 2000s because I was one of those kids that got scammed into texting a number to get the Crazy Frog theme or whatever ringtone. And I didn't know because they put in the freaking little thing that it's like, oh, it's $5 a month. So like a year would go by with me with my ringtone, ring ding 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 ding, ba ba, do 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 do, and then they send a bill every 6 months, and my dad's like, "What is this bill for $40 for Crazy Frog?"
You're such a dumb kid.
But I was running around with, and I was like, "Hey, you like this ringtone? Look, you like this ringtone? You see this ringtone?"
Could you make my ringtone for you? Whoa, you don't even have my number.
You don't
want it.
I don't want it. I got you on Discord, man.
Because I would call you in random times of the night, asking about the deck you're thinking about. You know,
the type of wood in the deck.
The homeowner that you are. How's your new house doing? How's that going along for you?
It's going really well. We're coming up on a year because we moved in
already.
Yeah, we moved in May 30th of last year. Dude, time flies by when you're having fun.
Sure. Any weird things you come across when repair wise every homeowner runs into?
Not yet. Just a lot of life lessons when it comes to snow and being prepped for snowfalls here in Canada. That's for sure.
Yeah. Sounds like, and the crappy internet you have. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Internet's a problem here for sure.
Time to move.
Nope.
Come on down to Texas, brother.
Nope. I'm in a 30-year mortgage.
Oh, you could rent out that house. Come on down to Texas.
It's in a student city, so I could rent it out.
Rent it out to a fraternity. Why not? So wait. So Solo Sokoa, Money in the Bank briefcase holder. I got 2 tickets, one for me, one for him, type of vibe with his new teammate JC. You think that's gonna work? And he would be an interesting threat with the Money in the Bank, both for the heavyweight and the undisputed. I think he would go undisputed, right?
I don't know, man. His brother is the world heavyweight champion. That's far more interesting.
Oh,
right? It'd be rehashing the bloodline vortex, but it's there and it makes sense.
Why is the WWE getting rid of the bloodline? Why are they burying the bloodline so hard? Like, Jimmy doesn't dress in bloodline number and colors. There's really less mentioning of the bloodline.
You got to move on eventually, man. Every big faction, you eventually have to move on.
Longest factions of all time.
Every faction's gone through it, man.
Yeah, but there wasn't no ending. There was There
was no ending for DX. There was no ending for the NWO. It just ends. That's it. It's over.
They put so much in the Ulufala though. Like, they put all that, and then I think the ending of the bloodline is The Rock giving it to Roman.
Yeah,
right?
if you're waiting for The Rock, you're going to be here forever. It is kind of interesting though that like the bloodline is so irrelevant at the moment, when the biggest storyline was the storyline for the Ulufala, who is the head of the table, who is the bloodline leader. And then after Roman won it, it's like, oh well, we don't really need the bloodline anymore. That was weird. I'll say that was weird.
Yeah, and then the whole thing was Rock and Roman supposed to be built up again, and then they just squashed it with The Rock going, here you go.
Here you go. Hey, Cody, let's have a drink together.
Hey, Cody, get a Terramana. And I'm like, have you seen Moana too?
Speaking of the bloodline, what about a Sami Zayn? Because it does bring up an interesting scenario with him and Seth Rollins, and of course Jey Uso, his brother, his Uso, being the world champion. I don't hate it. I don't hate that.
I don't want him dealing with this moral complex though. He'd be annoying in a different way. He would have the briefcase and it's like clear as day. Cash it in, Sammy. Oh no, I don't know if I should do it or do it not. I want to do it the right way, and he's gonna do it the right way, and he's gonna fail. It's the only way they would do that is if Gunther kind of presence would be like, you see, Sammy, you're too weak, Sammy.
But this is this is kind of what you sign up for when you ask for a babyface Money in the Bank briefcase holder. That's a very common trope for the babyface Money in the Bank briefcase holder. Not every time, but a lot of times. This is what happens.
Well, then I don't want it.
All right. What about more heel, Logan Paul holding the briefcase?
Now, this would only work if Logan did what he did for the United States title. Take it everywhere. That's what worked. Remember when he was the United States title? Yes, he beat Ray, and then he didn't face anybody for a long time, and that was a big thing against LA Knight that he wasn't wrestling with it, but he took it everywhere. He went everywhere on his podcast. He took it everywhere in the shower when he took a picture with it, and then Jacob Fatu licked it.
Yeah, because now he has that reality show, right? Paul American. What if it showed up there? That'd be kind of cool.
On HBO. Yeah. There's lots of places he could go with it. Oh, the places he will go with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he will logify it and then maybe merch it out, put Feastables in there.
The Humble in the Bank.
The Humble in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, you already sold out to him. I see what you're doing. Humble. I see what you do. You saved him for last, didn't you?
I did. I saved Raquel Rodriguez for last, brother. What about Raquel Rodriguez? How are we feeling about that? We talked about all the other Judgment Day combos. What about Raquel?
I like Raquel. It's interesting. She towers over everybody in Judgment Day.
That's true.
She's the tallest person there. I think the only thing is like her health issues makes her a wild card, you know. I know she does her best to push through that, but if she can't appear,
she's been good for a long time though. So
yeah,
let's pretend that's not a problem. That's not a deciding factor.
That's my Brett to Ria. You know?
Oh, stop it!
The Brett and what it
stop is? It. No! Stop it!
The chemistry between Raquel and
Brett
Ria
and
is on
Sean.
a whole other level.
And Sean chemistry is what you compared it to.
Listen, I have to. Yes, for the people that are new to the podcast, I said that. There's a lots of things that year one Sancho said that haunt me to this day.
Yeah, that's up there with my favorite. That Ria and Raquel are the Brett and Sean of our generation.
I've said the chemistry wise, it's a friendly ghost. I'm not upset that I'm haunted by this saying. I will stand by that. When Raquel and Ria go toe to toe, it's great because Ria actually could sell for somebody. Ria works really well as an underneath heel babyface sometimes.
Sure.
Raquel's good at that. And her Tejana, And her Tejana bomb is sick. She's gonna Tejana bomb. She's gonna Tejana bomb somebody off of something. That's all I know.
I would just be concerned that they would do like a Carmelo where it's like James Ellsworth helps her. And they would have Carlito.
And Carlito helps her. Carlito helps her. Brother, come on, dude. There's true love in the air. Good old Otis and Mandy Rose type of love. Come on, man. Carlito is trying his best.
Yes. All right, let's move on here. We are an hour. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I would be remiss if we didn't talk since we're talking about Money in the Bank, the Money in the Bank qualifier that we just had. Zoe Stark unfortunately suffered one of the most gruesome injuries that I've seen live on WWE TV. My hope is that it's one of those injuries where it looks much worse than it is. You know, obviously it's going to be bad, you know, but I hope it's not the absolute worst of the worst possible scenarios. She did her springboard missile drop kick that she does a million times, that we've seen her do an infinite amount of times, and it's always one of the cooler spots. But when you go back and watch it, it looks like maybe Kyrie is not in the correct spot. Timing is off. Zoe Stark, to say lands awkwardly is the understatement of the year. Lands brutally, brutally bad. Knee bends the wrong way, and she instantly the screams are apparent that this is not a work. Doctors are in there. They usher her out. First and foremost, I hope nothing but a speedy recovery for Zoe Stark. You never want to see that for happen to a performer. And shout out as well, though, to the ref for acting as quick as they did, and Rhea Ripley and Kairi Sane for continuing the match after seeing and hearing a thing that might have impacted lesser performers and prevented them from being able to compete at the high level that they would go on to compete for the rest of the match. So obviously we wish Zoe Stark a speedy recovery. But yeah, you never want to see that. Absolutely never want to see that. We talked about it before where I do think that she was intended to take the pin here for Rhea Ripley. I don't think the intention was for WWE to announce the return of Kairi Sane on social media, give Kairi Sane the actual live entrance, not on commercials, have a return with the pirate entrance theme to be pinned by Rhea. I think it was just a matter of circumstance. Rhea was always going to go over. We had to find a way to do it now without Zoe Stark there. So the injury created this ripple effect that I hope doesn't damage the stock of Kairi Sane taking this pin. I think that we just need to understand that was just a circumstantial pin that she had to take, I think.
I think there were plans, of course, to keep Kairi looking strong, though. I think they did a solid job of making Kairi looking strong against Rhea for that moment in a one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when they're on their knees, like, let's go. Yeah. And Kairi's like, yeah, let's get it.
Yeah, there was some good moments there for being on the fly. And it just shows you the true nature of wrestling, how, you know, when things go south, the professionalism of both Rhea and Kairi to continue on and knowing the importance of said match going into Money in the Bank, while their minds are thinking of Zoe Stark, who took that brutal thing. There's so many weird factors into that as well. You mentioned the timing. The commentators Pat McAfee and Michael Cole were mentioning throughout the night that the ropes, it was very humid there. It's a very humid night in Greensboro, and I wonder if the ropes were kind of slippery because she did kind of came off those ropes in a little weird way. And I think Zoe is not really talked about, though, Santi, I think Zoe did the commendable thing and not destroy Kairi. I think if she would have dropkicked Kairi as normally that she did, she would have probably hurt Kairi in that aspect, considering that when she was about to launch into her dropkick, she realized that Kairi wasn't in the right position, and therefore she tried to bail out of it. And in that instance, she landed on her knee in the wrong way, in her leg. So, I mean, it hasn't been talked about, but that's what I see from my point of view. In the end, I think Kairi Sane is going to be great. It's funny we call her Kairi Bane, but she still looks tiny. She's so
still
tiny.
Puny.
Still.
Yeah, just
still puny,
those Instagram photos made her look uber mega jacked.
Yeah, but she's still going to be Kairi Bane. And at the end of the day, Rhea Ripley moves on. I'm just hoping that this is not the first instance of more issues going down the line. And the reason why I bring this up is, Cody Rhodes has said this before in an interview, and I'm going to pull this out because it got me thinking about it, where he talked about the antiquated systems of live events, and the WWE has already pulled back on live events more and more. And what Cody says in this kind of interview is he talks about that there's house show reps. And he says is that there is a lot of people that would need it. It says, let me read this in quote here. One of the benefits of working for this is the time when he was at AEW. At All Elite Wrestling, if you're a competitor, you're really working 1 day a week. The really diehard, committed kind of golden circle where a company is always working, and that includes wrestlers, not just management. Their minds are always going, but it's new to wrestling that Tony offers the schedule. Some people are free to do independent shows on the weekends where they can keep getting the reps in. Some other people don't need the reps, like my brother, Dustin Rhodes. He's had 20 years of reps. He's TV ready, always kind of proven by the last week here with the Young Bucks and Santino Ortiz. I think that's the way it should be. I think the model of the live event system, I'm not trying to knock anybody, is antiquated. So the good thing of one of the reason why I bring this up is live reps matter. And WWE has been pulling a lot of house shows and doing less and less. You could look at the house show schedule from Mania last or 2 years ago to now, and there's just not that many. Even John Cena in his prime would wrestle 5 to 6 times a week. And now I'm not saying like whether I don't know what's right or wrong. I'm not in the business. As someone that just looking from all the evidence of what we have so far, is that the wrestlers do enjoy working less. It's better on their bodies overall in the long term. But the in-ring has gotten a little bit, the timing has been a little bit off. And not just in this instance, but even if you look at the previous SmackDown, there's Elton from Pretty Deadly taking a nasty broken nose type of situation. Nia Jax getting just destroyed by that metal chair, right? There's a couple of moments that from people don't understand is they work a lot of sequences in house shows. And I remember when I was going to house shows, I would see a sequence in the house show and then it would appear at the PLE, like they would get it perfected. So there's a lot of these moments that they use house shows to set up to what's going to happen at Mania. And if you've gone to a house show, you would recognize the sequence that you see later at PLE too. So I'm hoping that in a positive way to spin this is that these less working house shows won't be a detrimental to the product and the people in the ring, because clearly Zoe Stark not being in the ring for a month and then Kyrie not being in the ring for multiple months led to that mistiming situation. And you could always, yes, it's wrestling, it's a game of inches, but at the end of the day, I think reps, as Cody said, are important to some wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Especially high spots like that.
Yeah.
It's a high spot, man.
You might be onto something. And it was a high spot between two women that haven't been working together, that have had very little in-ring reps. We know that Zoe was doing some stuff on Main Event, but it was still pretty sporadic. And then Kyrie, this was her very first match back. So there might be something about the lack of continuous reps that you would typically get from the constant house show environment. Again, we're kind of talking from the perspective of fans on a couch. We don't know. It's tough for us to really quantify the benefits versus the downside of more reps versus less reps, safer and a more relaxed in rested body versus a less rested body, but more better twitch reflexes and better timing because you're doing it so much. So it's an interesting thing to point out, you know, because a lot of people, when they talk about the less house shows, talk about it more from a perspective of a fan not having as many opportunities to see more affordable WWE WWE shows. That now we're kind of being relegated to only big market wrestling shows at a really high ticket price. But there could be a secondary side effect, which could be what you mentioned here, you know, not as tight a timing on certain things that you would be working out on the house shows. There's something there to explore for sure.
Well, I mean, not only that, Becky Lynch was, you know, making call outs to the Roxy spot. Like there's a lot of these moments that you're seeing seep in a little bit more. And, you know, it's not necessarily, and I could be wrong about this, and I'm really happy to be wrong about this, but it's just a very unfortunate instance that clearly you saw that it was just a timing and positioning thing. I mean, the same thing happened with Logan and Ray, and where Logan said that he wasn't in the right spot for Ray on that lion salt catch. You know, those are the instances that it all matters. And as they get less time in the ring, it becomes the onus is to perform when the lights are on. And you're like I said, there's instances where it's happening in random places, like here and there in a random match. And like I noticed in that Axiom match against Pretty Deadly that happened there, where they had to make a change in the ending. And then it happened with Nia and Tiffy. Imagine if that happened earlier in the match.
It would have been problematic. Yeah, right. You'd be stopping the match to close the wound.
Right. So there's that. And you know, at the end of the day, we want Zoe Stark to make sure hopefully it's not a career-ending injury. And at the end of the day, it's like we just need to. You got to respect the sport of pro wrestling, because it is a game of inches, man. One rotate over, one rotate too high, you're trying to, they're always trying to outdo them previous weeks, and they can make a mistake. And that's why like a lot of people were hating on Jey Uso. Like Jey Uso dove out of the ring, and yeah, it was a botch, but it happens. But it's like it's at the highest. It's like the highest moment, of the momentum of his ride. And to have that slip up was poorly mistimed. But it just feels weird to make a podcast about someone's injury, because you don't know. You don't know. You just don't know.
Well, let's begin to wrap this up. Last thing that I wanted to talk about was the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Right now we have Gunther, Rollins, Logan, Champion Jay. And I know that because they're building the Saturday night's main event, and then right after you have Money in the Bank, there's this like interweaving of storylines going on with Gunther and Jay. Gunther and Logan happened last night. Gunther and Rollins even had a moment. By the way, technically in both of those interactions, Gunther was the babyface, which is an interesting thing to think about a babyface Gunther. Obviously, we have the stuff between Rollins and Jay. We had an interaction between Rollins and Logan. Jay and Logan is a thing. Are we heading somewhere down the line of a fatal four-way, perhaps, for this championship at some point in this summer? Or is this just WWE trying to juggle all of the storylines that they kind of force themselves to juggle because of Saturday night's main event?
I'm hoping we're going to get another multi-man. I think we got to go back to singles wrestling, man. Singles wrestling is where the drama is. Multi-man is where the spectacle is. And sure, it's fun to watch, but at the same time, it's like Mania had so many multi-man. I think you could have got away with a singles match between, Io and Rhea, and that would have been, or Io and Bianca, that would have been fine, but they had to add that star power. I don't think necessarily having, like, that's a lot of star power for Jey Uso. That's a lot of possibilities for Jey Uso to lose, and just to protect Jey Uso, which is, like I said, it's not a confident choice. If you're going to have Jey Uso as your champion, let him go out like a real champion, dude. Don't let him go out on a fatal four-way.
Sure.
Like, what does that do? Does that protect him? No, that just makes him, the odds of him winning, even the odds of him losing and winning hurt his value as a champion. Whereas if he went out against a Bron Breakker, he would put Bron Breakker over a little bit. And it's never seen as like, oh, you didn't really beat me type of vibe. I don't know. I feel like multi-man matches are they're not confident booking in my book.
I agree. They're not conducive of building a strong champion. It feels kind of wishy-washy. I will say I like how many people are in the equation. Funny enough, I'm going to just say this. I already feel like Jey Uso's championship run is being booked better than Gunther's. Like, yes. In terms of who's going after that championship. I pulled an LA Knight there. I choked mid-sentence. I swallowed my gum. The Intercontinental. I already like the what they're doing with Jey Uso's championship run infinitely more than what they did with Gunther. I like this revolving door of heels that could be gunning after Jey Uso at any moment. The ones that are just around the corner, some that are still looming somewhere further down the line. But I like that they aren't shadowy figures that we just have to try and fantasy book as to who's next. We know that they're there. It's just a matter of like, when will their opportunity come up?
Yeah, but so then why throw them all together?
I'm not saying they have to. I'm just saying,
that's what I mean. Like,
that's a possibility.
Well, I was just saying, like, I got so hard criticized about Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. Yes, it produced a spectacular result with the turn of Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, sure, but it's like there was those three guys you could have stretched out, and you could have multiple matches, and then you could have got to that result, of course, of the triple threat. But I just feel like the lead up of, like, even the IC titles, like, oh, we got these great wrestlers, let's just put them all in one match so we could have them all in one match, so that way we could say, like, hey, we're not forgetting these guys. But we're losing so many interesting matches on the way to that, right? Like it's cool to get Roxy involved in triple threat with something like Becky Lynch, but there's like when is that gonna, like, I want that as a singles match too, because that was a really cool interaction to see them going into a triple threat. But that just delays that possibility that they'll have a singles match because they had a triple threat match already. Am I crazy thinking that?
I get you. I get it. I think that the argument just kind of, you were in a bit of an uphill battle because it was WrestleMania, and that is the perfect place to have done that. True. It would have been interesting if before in the lead up to this, they had to made time for CM Punk versus Roman Reigns to really
like a PLE before that, right?
Sure, made time for it to all coalesce, but they really just built it off the Royal Rumble thing, right? The interaction between all three at the Royal Rumble. No, I get where you were coming from. You were just uphill battle because, well, where else would you do that triple threat? It had to be WrestleMania. That's all. But Sancho, I think it's time to start to bring this bad boy home. I think it is time for the new Heat order. I can try and find the list of last week's because I made it. Give me a sec.
You made it. Oh.
Yeah, remember you were sick. You made me do new Heat order. So the new Heat order, ladies and gentlemen, is in the list of our favorite or best
People
wrestlers.
were so upset that our show was only an hour and a half. But did you know what I was going through,
Dude,
bro?
they didn't give a shit that you were sick.
They did not. Not one single person, even in the Patreon, get well. I hope you're well.
Not a single one. Everybody's like, Sancho's sick? What? Why only an hour and a half? They don't care about you or your feelings. They just want the content, brother. The new Heat order, ladies and gentlemen, is our end of the show series where we list the people that are creating the most buzz around the world of professional wrestling. Not our favorites, not who we think is the best, just who created the most buzz that week. Last week, number 10, we had Jeff Cobb. At number 9, Fraxium. At number 8, Dominic Mysterio. Number 7, Jade Cargill. Number 6, Rhea Ripley. Number 5, Io Sky. Number 4, Jey Uso. Number 3, R-Truth. Number 2, John Cena. And number 1, Randy Orton. You're making the list still, right?
Yeah, I have it right here.
All right.
One thing I just thought about, going back to Zoe, because it was just on my mind. When AEW has one show a week, you could see that sometimes there are all the little slips and quote unquote botches is a word I don't like to use either, but there is those moments. By the way, I want to bring back a quick segment. Blank is cool. I want to give a special shout out. We forgot about this segment.
Oh, yeah.
Special shout out to Cameron Valentine on Instagram, CZV_wrestling.
I like that kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cameron's cool, man.
Yeah. Cameron's a cool kid.
Give Cameron some love here. Highly recommend the work he does. He basically is making content, does his own kind of like shorts about predictions, talks about what happened on Raw. I think he was at Raw, believe it or not.
He was.
Seen in his Instagram. So he's a really cool content creator. I don't want to call him a kid because he's out there. He's doing things.
He's grinding. He's grinding the same way we are.
He's grinding and slowly getting some momentum. And I want to add to the fire of Cameron Valentine. Sounds like a great wrestling name, by the way.
That's a good name. That is a
coming
cool
into the ring,
name.
Cameron Valentine, a lot better than JC Mateo. You tell me. So
Kaiju Kane,
Cobstone. So give a follow to CZV_wrestling on
CZV. For the
CZV.
Don't shake your head like that when you say it.
CZV. It's rare that we give a shout out and a unpaid prompt to
pay us next time.
Cameron, you gonna shake Cameron a kid? What's wrong with you?
Give me your lunch money.
Jesus. I would like to open up the bidding at Roxanne at number 1, sir.
Ooh, Roxanne. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Solo really raised his stock, like from nothing to now.
Yeah, but he named his boy JC Mateo. I'm gonna penalize him.
I know, but like that Solo is back. They're like, yeah, I mean, okay, all right, you got it all out. Come on, we got the Solo we like back.
Hey, carnal.
Oh, no español. I forgot. Come on, you gotta give this week the Solo.
All right, Solo Zakoa. This is all part of my plan, dude. To hate on Solo a little bit, so you overglaze him, and then I'm like, "This was my plan all along."
Yes.
They're expecting Solo Zakoa in the wreckage, brother. Number 2, Roxy.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you Roxy here. Yeah.
Qualified. Roxy Perez, dude. What wrestler are you afraid to interview? Like, You be like, they go like, hey, we have this opportunity to wrestle interview X wrestler. You go,
I think I'd be afraid to interview Liv Morgan because she's gotten so good at roasting people.
Oh,
yeah, that I feel like she would find a moment where I'm off my game and just pull at that thread and completely annihilate me.
Watch me.
Yeah, like they did it to poor iShowSpeed.
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah, they completely roasted iShowSpeed. Like iShowSpeed mispronounced one thing and then they just completely roasted him for it for the next 2 minutes. I'm sure I'd probably end up doing that.
I think for me it'd be Dom in the same instance.
The same reason.
You don't want to be uncool with Dominic Mysterio. You know what I mean? That's
true.
I know Con Man had a picture with him, and I think Con Man maybe
Con Man looked lame next to him. I'm like, see, this is the problem. You meet Dominic, you take a picture with him, you look at the picture and like, oh my God, I'm so lame.
It's like in the moment, you're like, oh man, this is so cool. And then you look at the picture.
I feel like this is like 2 straight podcasts with Con Man strays.
Hey, he's not streaming. We got to keep him.
On his
it's
feet.
Like a wrestler. If a wrestler's not like around, you got to keep him around.
Sure. Yeah, we're keeping his name alive and relevant.
That's right. And so when there's a big return for Con Man streams at full time, we're there.
No, when he returns, we'll be like, exactly, no pop.
No, he's your friend.
That's why we're saying it.
That's true. We put up Kevin Valentine, put down Con Man. That's the way we do. All right, number 3. Is Jeff Cobb on this list?
For the wrong reasons, but like it could still be a reason.
10? Put him at 10.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, put JC Mateo. So much conversation.
No, stop. Stop.
Put Kaiju Kane on there. Put Cobb Stone on there.
Kaiju Kane, dude. People are gonna like, who's Kaiju Kane? Oh,
you missed the episode, brother. Yeah, all those that know.
No, Cobb Stone sounds sick, dude. He could come out dressed like Jekyll and Hyde, right? Like Cobblestone. No. Dude, he is a
dude
type of man.
Google right now the Pokemon Graveler. That's Jeff Cobb. Google him. Tell me that's not Jeff Cobb to a T.
Safe search on or off?
It's just a Pokemon.
Oh, I'm just asking you. Oh yeah, it is him.
That's Jeff Cobb. Yeah. He's Graveler.
I like that.
Yeah. Anyways,
number 10 for beating LA Knight. Put your right there. Kaiju Kane.
All right.
I'm gonna call him Cobstone because that sounds cooler.
What about who's won qualifier so far?
Rhea Ripley, Roxy, and Solo.
Do we put Julia at 9? A debut, getting announced for Friday Night Smackdown. That was talked about a lot.
She hasn't really done anything right now.
She stared down Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte.
It's a big name.
Oh, Alexa qualified too.
Yeah. You know what? That was a great match. Let's put Alexa in there. Let's put Alexa on the list.
At 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7.
Man, what a weird week.
Or 9. I put her at 5.
R-Truth, dude.
Ooh,
that might be number 1.
Oh,
the interview?
It's not a title match.
No, that's perfect though. That's the perfect type of match to put at Saturday night's main event.
Do you think?
Give me 3. Put him 3. Put him 3. Don't argue.
Right.
Just
are they going to give? Are you going to give R-Truth the Copeland effect? Or are they going to get us so close? Like, oh my God, he's going to do it.
Dude, we're going to get Santino Elimination Chamber 2011, Royal Rumble 2010. It's going to the moment is going to happen.
Dude, that's a very, very, and I'm going to choose my words carefully here, a very risky match to put John Cena in. Both individuals up there in age.
Yeah, okay, I hear, and from that perspective, from the physical perspective, sure, I hear you.
It's a very risky thing to put your reigning, defending, undisputed title holder against R-Truth. Now, I know R-Truth is probably one of the safest guys out there, but still, man.
Yeah, I think this is more of about the emotion of the match, less than it's going to be about the physicality.
Just 5 moves of doom.
Why not? How about
Five Moves of Doom from both.
From R-Truth, from both of them, yeah.
From both. Back and forth, ooh, yay.
Mm-hmm,
Ooh, yay, back and forth. And then AA from R-Truth. Just one.
Do you want R-Truth to come out in Cena gear with Cena's entrance theme, with all of the old adages, him doing the thing with the camera, talking to Stu, being the old Cena?
I think he comes out with the Thugonomics. Word life.
I don't think
And he
so.
raps his own way.
I feel like I want this to be a mirror match. You know, I want Truth to be out there being the thing that Cena turned away from being. I want the colorfulness of the entrance. I want running down the ramp, throwing the shirt to the audience. I want him to be the representation of everything he was when he was
That's what
the
R-Truth
top
says.
babyface.
R-Truth says he wants to remind him. You remind me.
Oh, what I really am.
I like you.
So sorry.
If R-Truth needs to be on the shirt though. It's like same like
just R-Truth Cena inspired gear. That would sell. That would sell.
Yeah. That'd be great. I think what's gonna happen. I think R-Truth has to put Cena in an STF.
Oh, of course, dude. We're gonna get all of that. All right.
I think Cena hits him with 2 I think Cena only hits him with. I think he kicks out a 1 AA though.
R-Truth I don't think so. I bet it's 1 AA, one and done.
No way. Okay. Either he breaks out of the STF, like he gets to the ropes. There has to be a cool hope spot, right?
Sure.
STF rope break or kicks out of an AA.
Okay. R-Truth
or foot on the ropes AA.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Number 4, Jey Uso.
Sure.
Okay. How cool Bron Breakker looks with Paul Heyman.
5, give me Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax at 5-6.
Can I put Tiffy at 4?
Okay.
I think. Okay.
Well, you could do 4-5 with those two if you want.
Yes, I agree.
And then Jey Uso at 6.
Jey Uso, yeah. You know what? I bet you it's the hardest part about the house show thing that we have is the travel. That's always the crappy part about traveling to the shows.
What about Gunther here? Interactions with Jay, Logan.
What about Logan?
And Seth Rollins?
Logan or Gunther?
I would put Gunther over Logan right now, honestly.
So
I might go Gunther, Logan, Seth in that order.
You know what? I'm shocked about this version of Seth Rollins.
What?
Is that if he's the visionary, as Gunther said, if you're the visionary, if he's the visionary, why does he not like understand that CM Punk's going to come out? Wouldn't the architect know?
Right.
That Sammy's going to come out?
Dude, it's those things, man.
CM Punk.
Mustafa, just grab the freaking briefcase, bro.
But that's what shocks me. And if someone says, like, why isn't this Seth Rollins not hitting as hard as it is being like produced? And it's because of these instances. I promise a Seth Rollins who's super cerebral. Like he's elevated to the point of being this all-knowing type of architect and manipulator. And he was able to foresee the chess. He moved the chess pieces to get a Paul Heyman to turn on not only CM Punk, but Roman Reigns. And he manipulated CM Punk to thinking that Paul Heyman was going to help him out. Manipulated Roman to thinking that Paul Heyman was going to help him out. And he did all that and beat CM Punk and Roman. And then he's like,
and I know that you know, and I know that you know that I know that I know.
And then he's sitting there going like, oh my God, here comes CM Punk. I'm surprised. Number 10, Cobb Stone, Kaiju Kane. Number 9, Seth Rollins. Number 8, Logan Paul. Number 7, Gunther. Number 6, Jey Uso. Number 5, Nia Jax. Number 4, Tiffany Stratton. Number 3, R-Truth. Number 2, Roxy Perez. And number 1, Solo Sakoa. Solo.
So good.
Yaramin. And honorable mention, Cameron Valentine. We both agree we will not acknowledge JC Mateo. Do you think they keep it or they change it?
Nah, they're keeping it.
Nah,
they're rolling
I think
with it.
If he doesn't get a T-shirt within 2 months, JC Mateo, it ain't happening.
He doesn't even have an entrance theme right now, so
Dog, he has no Titantron, no interesting.
Nothing.
He used when he won, Solo Sokoa's music hit.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's funny. All right. Well, folks, thank you so very much for listening to this week's episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. We're back to 2+ hours. All right, you whiny babies. There you go. Thank you.
You get nothing.
Nothing. An
Get
extra
nothing.
thank you goes out to our $15 patrons. They are our producers of the show, and as such, get their names read out here at the end of the show. So thank you goes out to Dominic Mysterio is my go. First patron, I Crazy Dude says W Santi's 2.5 incher. Also, I Hate Abby, Ace 1151, Aiden S, Alex Regal, Alex, Alfie, the Code WWE Predictions Champ, All Hail Dirty Dom, Alan the Teflon Don, Amato Beltre, American Nightmare Cody Lander, Andrew S, Anthony A, Antonio Arjona, Anthony Arbach, Arrogance, Ashley, Asperlitz, Ozzy Kingslayer, Austin Hoagland, Authentic Chocolate, Bailey Saunders, Bo Pluto, BFT is the skull crushing finale with less steps, Be Hostile, Blake Dela Cruz, Blast Pass 64, Bluefish, Bobby, oh, Brad the Nerd, Brady Keaton, Brandon, Braun Strokesman, Bravado, Brandon Richards, Brody Cyphers, Bryce Burt, Caleb Parker, Caleb Williams, Cameron Waring, Cameron Talks WWE, Carlos Gonzalez, CB, Cena, Cody, Double Turn at Mania, Chase Rose, Chimchar Collectibles, Chris Butner, Lucas, Chris Estes, Christian Billick, Clay, CM Drunk, Colby Mayo, Colin Ketchum, Conductor of the Penta Train, Connor Fitzsimmons, Connor Hoffman, Cookies for Sale, Cool Whip Tim, Corey Ring, Sci-Fi, Dalton Dunbar, Danny Lamp, Danny Gunk, Darren Dunstan, Dick Girl. It could be Deck Girl. Maybe she's really into decks as well. Derek Barnhart, Devin, Digi316, Dylan Stapleton, D. Lopez, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, Drake Hughley, Drink Every Time, Becky Lynch Says Garbage, Dumsky, Dalen Areola, Sean.
Wait, does that I say garbage?
No, Becky Lynch Says Garbage.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Edger Nation, Eduardo Avila, El Joshi, Ellie Ferreira, Eric Crosby, Eric Ruiz Romero, Aaron Thorne, Isats, my Reebs, Fishing with Papa J, Fletcher Wolf, Floating FMFCMA. For his birthday, Santi got Dirty Dom body pillow. Close. I got that Dirty Dom. They got kind of close to a body pillow. Forever Wrestling, Fruitful Vibes, Gamerscape, Gilbert Deans, Goat Man of Cheese, Gunther killed my brother Oos, GXA Man, Harpfeld, Hey Shakes, Hoodie Cam, I'm Rick James Bitch, Ian McNugget, I'm Braun Strowman, I'm The Beef, Isaiah Rodriguez, Isaiah Schaefer, Issa David, it's Mista, it's Astro Kid, it's ... Christian, Jack Ghibli, Jack Harris, Jackson, Jacob Mueller, Jacob Pena, Jacob Staffel, Jaden Davis, Jaden Solomon Jones, Jake Shavoya, Jacob Kufis, James Brian Balago, Jason Vane, Javier Rodriguez, Jaxium Plays, Jalen Steele, Javion McDuffie, Jay Angel, JC Worley, Gene Carlos Capellan, Jeremiah Finley, Jahihi Ahihi, JJ J-Man, Joe Velez, Joe Romig, John Anthony, Johnny Owens, Jordan Cancel, Jordan Lynch, Josby, Joseph, Josh Musto, Juan Stroman.
Que bossa.
Jacob Fat Dose. Come on. You're going to no-sell Jacob Fat Dose? Crazy.
Stupid.
Juicy J153, Juliana.
Dude, how many margaritas do you think Braun Strowman could handle? How big is he again?
He's a big fella. Justin Brooks, Justin Perkins, Justin Rivera, Caden Rivers, Caleb Martin, Kevin Bega, Kevin Davis, Kuwaiti Rick Boogs, Kyrie Lawrence, Let's Go Sancho, Santi Sucks, Liam, Life of Brian, Lil Shifu, Luke Parker, Luke Sika, Manly Man, Mark, Marnie YCSM, Matthew Dollar, Matthew Oberg, Matthew Watkins, Mossy, McQueen X, Mackay, Meredith Lee, Michael Carlson, Michael Purnell, Michael Paz, Michael Vera, Miguel Paredes, Mikey Rada, Mitchell X, Muhammad Albanai, my dad left to go get a Finn Balor singles push, Nathan Tully, Navid Reyes, Amini, Nellen Zach, Nicholas Kyle, Nighthawk, Nina Ure, NyQuil Pad, Noah Booth, Obinobi, Obion0012, Oil Up Now, Santi69, Oliver Hammonds, Osama Awad, Parker Moore, Pat R, Pat McMark, Pig Nuts, Pim Caw, Preston Smith, Frody, Prince Vegeta, Puke 1904, Puppet Spanker Johnson, Randy Cooper, Rawest of all daddies, Reaper God.
5 to 6 margaritas.
Oh, no, he could do more than that.
I mean,
Reese, Ricardo Ramirez, Rick Mar, 1R, Ricky Dutcher, RIP Braun Strowman, RJ Don, Robert Allen, Robert Holder, Robert Rogers, Rocky B, Royce Ruffo, Ruben Sanchez, Riley, Sam Dukes. Sancho doesn't get a safe space. Sancho has mucho miedo for the snail. That's so stupid. That's so dumb.
Snail Hogan, dude.
It's Snail Hogan, brother. When it comes slugging down and it hurts inside. Sancho's opinions over Santi's opinions. Santi bending over for a protein shake. Santi, our 17-time podcast champion. Santi lives in Canada. Sauce God, Saudi Rick Boog, Scotty Bear 92, Screamless God, Semba, Seymour Butts, Shaggy, Shitstain Nakamura, Sir Alberton, Slime Manny, Slowtoke Rodriguez, Stephanie Delaray, Stephanie Bucker, Lookalike Contest in My Bedroom, Stephen Corby, Super Malachi Galaxy, Taco Bullfish, Taman Bryant, Tanner Cloudis, the 17-time WWE Undisputed Dumbass Sir Nightmare, the Final Pebble, the Urine Taker, Rest in Piss.
You gonna face the urine taker, player.
The Vanilla Joe Rilla, Thomas Wright, Timmy Fitzmaurice, Toasty, Tobias Burnett, Trent Head, Trevor Harder, Turbo Tyson, Two Slapped Cupid, Tycho, Tyler Free, Tyler Logan, Tyler McGarry, V Charles, Vegan Penguin, Venom, Juan Pablo III, Whaler 30, White Mexican, William Martinez, William Newton, Willie Cecil, Xavier D. Lewis, Javier Izquierdo, Zach Smira, Deadshot, you stupid, my ribs, Zach Griffin, Zach Hewitt, Zach Butcher, Zay2K, Zeke Love, Zergzito, Lord BBNJ. Thank you guys very much for supporting us at the $15 tier. We really do appreciate it. We're going to be doing movie night soon, so keep an eye out on that. But folks, thank you so very much for watching this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. You folks take care. Be wonderful people. We'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.